me so, and this I know for sure. But does he really wanna work on stand to see me going out the door? Don't try to fight the feeling, 'cause the thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God for mom and dad for sticking two together, 'cause we don't know how. All you gotta do is say, all you gotta do is say yes. Don't deny what you feel, let me undress you, baby. Open up your mind and rest. I'm about to let you know you made me so. All you gotta do is, baby.
Magic, madness, heaven sends.
madness, heaven sent forever. Has to meet you where you've been. Magic, madness, heaven sent.
Marcus Smart.
Reckless. Has to meet you where you've been. Magic, madness, heaven sent forever. Has to meet you where you've been. Magic, madness, heaven sent. Reckless. Has to meet you where you've been. Magic, madness, heaven sent forever. Has to meet you where you've been. Magic, madness, heaven sent. HelloFresh is also an owner of Factor. So Factor is pre-made meal plans. If you don't like to cook your own meals with HelloFresh, you can use the link in my comment section and you can pick your meals from Factor. In the link, you get some free meals as well. So if you guys don't want to take the time to go ahead and cook the meals like I did with HelloFresh, you can go ahead and order your own meals through Factor. The meals are amazing. They have breakfast, they have protein shakes, they have smoothies. So if you guys want to use Factor, go ahead and hit that link in the comment section. It's amazing. Go ahead and make sure you click that link, get you some Teach Hanley, and support the Media Man YouTube channel, and also support Teach Hanley.
She's
fast car. I want to get to anywhere. Maybe we can make it. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Started from zero and nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was strong. City lights laid out before us. Your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car.
I testify for you. I do that 3-4 times again. I testify for you. I'm so that like you, that bitch. I do it all. I won't cry, you scared it. I'm not. Long as you joking now here for me. I ain't got it. I'm skinny do it. I your body. As long as you dreaming about me, ain't no problem. I
All right, we got everything set up. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another Media Man Live on this good Wednesday. I appreciate y'all being here today. We have a special show that I want to start making a habit and share some of my favorite books and some of the favorite excerpts that I have in those particular books. So yes, we have a great show. I promise you it'll definitely be informative. Everything will flow as it naturally should. And we're going to definitely talk about paths to success and what does that entail, because everybody's path to success is different. And also I shared this before when I first started my YouTube channel in regards to how I joined the Air Force. You guys are going to be surprised. You know, it's no heroic story behind me joining the Air Force. It's a pretty funny story, but it just goes to show you guys that everybody's path to success is different. You know, maybe that includes getting married, maybe that includes staying single, traveling the world, whatever you decide to do. But we're gonna definitely talk about it, and I promise you guys this will be a very informative show. And I'm actually grateful that I have a platform that I can share these books with you all, because I've done this before. If you guys don't know, we did something for the 48 Laws of Power, The Way of the Superior Man, Subtle Ways of Not Give a F, and all these type of books. I shared a couple of them, Stoicism. So yeah, this one is going to be very fun. And I encourage you guys to stay for the whole show. And I promise you're going to learn something, especially about this poster that I'm looking at right here that a couple people shared on social media. So yeah, I'm excited to get to it, and I'm pretty sure that you guys will enjoy today's show. But before we get started, let me go ahead and acknowledge Umar Wyatt for becoming the show sponsor before the show even started with the $19.99 super chat. He said, "We here in here, brother." He said, "Salute to the chat." Thank you, brother. Like I said, man, when y'all put in those those super chats before the show started, I'm like, man, that's love right there. So I greatly appreciate it, good brother. Appreciate you being here. Let's see who else we got in the building. Oh, we got Glow in the building. What's going on? How you? He said, "Good afternoon, sir." Good afternoon. And we got Rahid, the cloud engineer. What's going on, man? Welcome back. He said, you already know Mr. New York is here. Absolutely. What's going on, brother? Let's see here. RPM, what's going on? Man, he said, good afternoon, Media Man at chat. How you? How the family, brother? And we got Ali Roderick always in the building, man. So welcome back, bro. Thank you, good brother. I appreciate the support as always, man. Sean Fleming says, peace, fam. Peace to you too, good brother. Good to see you here. We got Jay Fleming in the building, passport bro extraordinaire over there in Columbia, chilling. Yeah, man, I got a chance to check out a couple of your videos, the most recent ones that you did, man. I'm definitely spend more time and see what you're talking about over there. Make sure y'all follow Jay Fleming, man. He just got back into Columbia, so I'm pretty sure that he can give you some of the best insight on that particular country because Jay frequently travels there. It is a great country. I was there. What was that? I want to say that wasn't last year. It was the year before that. I think November 2022, somewhere around there. And I had a great time, man. So Jay will be the guy that you guys need to go to. So what's going on, brother? And we got Saint Cyr in the building. He said, it doesn't matter if I'm working from home or in the office. If Media Man is live, I'm tapped in. Hey, see, man, that's love right there, brother. Hey, I appreciate it, man. And I promise you this is going to be a great show. You know, I always got some informative things to discuss and share with you guys, just like you guys, teach me a lot. You put something in the chat and I'll go ahead and review it, do my research. Yeah, man, y'all be on point. So I'm just trying to spread some information to where, you guys can get some value from it. And hopefully you can read the full book, of the content that I'm going to share today. So thank you, brother. And let's see here. We got Mona in the building. What did Mona post? It was something. Oh, I think it was that you, Mona, that posted Dr. Umar blaming black men for black women getting BBLs. Was that you? It was so funny. I saw that on somebody's page. I'm pretty sure it was Mona, where he was saying that it's black men's fault because we have unrealistic expectations. We didn't ask for that. We didn't ask for women to get BBLs. And the funniest thing, if you ask women, they'll tell you straight up, we don't do this for men. Same thing with makeup. If a man tells a woman, hey, you look so much better without makeup, or you look so much better with your natural hair, the first thing women will say is, I'm not doing this to appease you. I'm not doing this to appease the male gaze. I heard a new term or phrase that women are using. It's called decentering men. Have y'all heard this before? And this goes under the umbrella of women getting BBLs and wearing makeup and wearing their natural hair. They call it, we have to decenter men because we don't just do everything to appease the male gaze. And I'm like, well, okay, but Dr. Umar must not be paying attention because they'll tell you straight up what they do is not for men. They do it for themselves, right? Or other women. No black man was around said, hey, you know what, black woman who already got a nice juicy booty, we want y'all to go to Colombia and the DR and get BBLs. No black man says this foolery, bro. Everything is our fault. We can't do nothing. What's that movie Life? Can't get right. We can't get right. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole ass video where some content creator was asking both men and women, do you prefer was it natural? They say natural hair or natural or BBLs or something like that. It was like natural or enhanced or something. And every man was like natural. And every woman was like enhanced or whatever. And nobody pays attention to these videos when men talk. I don't think people be in these spaces like they supposed to and listen to what we saying. No black man is saying, yeah, girl, go get you a BBL. That's the women that we gonna marry. That's stupid. And then women mistake, I hate to go on a rant, but they mistake sexual attention for the women that, men want to settle down with. Men look at girls who have enhanced bodies because they tend to be the most naked. And I'm not going to take credit for this. There was a content creator that said it far more better than me, maybe about a year ago, where he was just simply breaking it down. He was like, man, yeah, these girls always naked. So we men, we like naked women. So if they own our, they come up on the timeline, we're going to take a sneak peek, but that's it. Ain't nobody really out there trying to wife a plastic chick, a BBL chick. And it's funny, and I don't think girls with BBLs understand, but you're gonna attract a certain type of guy. If your intent is to land a rapper or an entertainer or something like that, then fine. But I couldn't imagine, and credit Kevin Samuels for this. He said, "Man, how I'm gonna take one of these BBL big booty women to a gala or something like that, and her booty sticking out the half of her dress, and some of this shit women wearing outside." I'm just like, man, y'all. I mean, that's something that you used to wear, for lingerie night or something. Now y'all just naked. And me and my whole girl, we play a game. We'll send stuff like a girl outside half naked, and we'll just type in the DM outside, and she'll be like, she covered up. It's like we just play around a little bit. But it's just so funny. Like, man, I'm like, this dude just don't get it. And it's become comical. And I have a great video that's going to explain this. And it's not coming from me. It's coming from a female content creator on TikTok. And she was trying to help women understand, like, yo, y'all need to start listening to women and stop listening to people like Dr. Umar and Derek Jackson. She breaks it down extraordinarily well. I'll say that much. And it's based off of a most recent interview that Ebony K. Williams did again with Listen to Black Women. They just be talking up there. What they say? Yaponomics, just yapping with it. But we gonna get into it here in a second. Let me go ahead and get my acknowledgments. Oh man. Yeah, thank you, Bono. Umar's off his meds. Like, I'm like, bro, like, if you keep telling them this, then they don't have to change. I've been saying this for a while now. Like, man, why would somebody change if you telling them everything they do is perfect? Like, I don't know. Jay says Dr. Umar is always on some BS. Yeah, it's just funny at this point. Like, it could be anything, yeah. It could be a panel full of dermatologists talking about the effects that acne has on Black women. And Dr. Umar, if he was on that panel, he'd be like, yeah, I understand that, but that acne is because of, the Black man putting the Black woman down, and they stressing because they got to work and pay all the bills. And that's why they got all this acne. You see what I'm saying, sister? Because it is, I still laugh. Like, every time I see somebody comment this, I always laugh. They say it's always Jermaine's fault. That shit is spot on. Like, it's just like, oh well, Black men just go ahead and have at it. Let's just bring it on us. It's our fault. I didn't mean to start like that, but it's just funny. Skinny boy, 20 boy, what's going on, brother? With the $2 super chat, says, my fault. I love women built like sugar ants. Yeah, it is. It's your fault, skinny boy. You know what I'm saying? You went out there to the Black community and told our women to get them big asses. You know what I'm saying? To where you could barely walk. Like, look like two. What was it? Look like two Tootsie Pops walking around. Oh man, Umar hilarious. RPM said Umar's tripping hard. He always blames Black men for everything. Yeah, I mean, it ain't much we can do because they don't listen to us. It's all good. Wokewill, what's going on? Said, can't take a capital P BBL joint to the company holiday party. Yeah, man, it's just foolery. And granted, some women, may get a nice looking BBL. It is what it is. But God, dog, like, don't blame it on us. We didn't tell women to do that. We was content with, man, go look at the videos back in the 90s. I remember we used to have to sneak and watch 2 Live Crew videos for the women that was in there. Go back and watch, I shouldn't be putting the young, if it's any young brothers in there, close your ears. But go back and watch some video Move Something with from 2 Live Crew. Man, there's still one girl on there that let me be quiet. It's still one girl on there that I still think is very attractive. Yeah, that was my first crushes out there. Them ladies, they didn't have BBLs. They was just, nice and neat. I didn't say that much. Yo, Glow said literally too much cake Got to save some for the party. Thank you, man. Like, goodness. Oh, Prince Paxton, my man. Hey, he come in here and drop heavy bombs, man. Every time, blow up the damn banner. $49.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He said, "You already know I'm here. Much love to the man, the myth, and the legend. I greatly appreciate your support. Let me go ahead and update it. But before we do that, let me give a shout out to Lamar Wyatt for holding it down before the show started. I greatly appreciate it, brother. As always, man, you are a recurring super chatter. I know that for a fact. Let's see here with the got you in there, good brother. Thank you, man. Here we go. Bam. Got you. Let's see here. And then we got Woke Quill said Umar has done more podcasts than he has registered students. That's the problem. Yeah, like I said, he said September 4th is when the school is supposed to be open. And like I said, I'm headed out there. If it opens and he got it's a full staff, students, all that. Yeah, I'm there. I'm definitely there. Y'all think I'm playing? Let's see here. Glow said acne is the construct of the white man's beauty. Yeah, it's a white man's beauty standard. Black women, you're supposed to embrace your acne, sister. When you using all that cream, that whitening cream to clear up that acne, that's because that's what the white man told you to do. We are people of the earth. We are melanated sisters and brothers. We're supposed to embrace what the Lord has given us when we step outside and get dirt on our faces. You see what I'm saying? Let me stop, man, before you come up after me. Yo. Oh, man. Bass Clark, what's going on with the $5 super chat? Said putting a little something in for that 2 Live Crew reps. Yeah, what y'all know about that? Like I said, you know, y'all young buckaroos in there, don't go back and get corrupted by 2 Live Crew, man. You know, we used to sneak and have to watch 2 Live Crew videos. Lamar Wise said, he said, nice and neat. Yeah, your lady, yeah, I don't want no problems. We supposed to go to the store after this to go grab cowboy hats. You know what I'm saying? The rodeo is here. So, you know, I don't want no problems. I got to, you know, drive. Let's see here. What we got? Glow said, I'm going to try and read this in the Dr. Umar voice. My brother, are you telling me you are not trying to build a house on that Africa sponsored behind? Yo, Raz Clark, Umar has been open at school since 2013. He had a lot of us fool and collecting those donations. Yeah, including me. Yeah, I definitely donated to him after that Breakfast Club interview. I believe it was 2014 or 2015. He came on there talking about it. I was like, yeah, this brother's going somewhere. Everything changed. Sweet Jesus. Let's see here. GC opening day is just going to be Umar teaching and all his bastard kids as his students. Lord have mercy. I pray that he do something with it, man. Because, I mean, that would set up a lot of people, you know, if this dude really get that school open. Come on, man. Come on, Dr. Umar. Let me see here. Jay, what's going on? Thank you, brother. With the 20,000 Colombian pesos for the private jet fund. We back at it again, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate the support. I'm telling y'all Jay, make sure you put all your links and stuff in there. You out there, man. People want that information about Colombia. Thank you, brother. Too Fast, Too Furious said, what's good, my man? Appreciate it, brother. Hi, you. And we got Primatology. That's cool. You missed Oliver's earlier comment. The size of her BBL is indicative to the weight of the burden she carries, my brother. That's good. That's a good way. Let me go back and read that right. The size of a BBL is indicative to the weight of her burden she carries, my brother, because she has been the backbone of the Black community for decades, while Black men just sit on the couch and ate government cheese. I know I will get in trouble for this. I'm just playing Dr. Umar. Yo, oh man, Woke Quill said if that school opened, I'll gladly apologize, but I don't see that happening. Yeah, like I said, I'm going. I'm definitely going. Oliver, don't laugh at me, man. I'm just playing. He gonna come after me, man. Woke Quill said you got to repeat it 3 times. Yeah, man. Yeah, he gonna get me. That's funny. Everybody saying you got to repeat it 3 times. Hey, that's funny. Medium X. Yo. Hey, next live stream, I'll wear the bow tie. We call it now. Next live stream, I'll wear me a bow tie. Oh man. Yeah, you gonna come after me. Oh, yo, that's funny. All right, so we talking about Dr. Umar. Like I said, man, I like Dr. Umar, but he be wilding sometimes, man. This dude, he got to get out of his bubble. His what is it? His Pan-Africanist bubble, and start paying attention to what the hell is going on in the Black community, especially with relationships. He got to, man. It's too much now. And it's gotten to the point where women are starting to understand what the hell Dr. Umar is doing. And this woman sums it up very well. And like I said, she's going to start with the Ebony K interview, and then she's going to go into it. But without further ado, let's listen to this TikToker named Legacy of Pretty. And she is discussing the issues that she sees with our women in society and the relationship. So here we go.
There's an open marketplace. And the marketplace is broken Black women. That is the marketplace. And if they can keep giving you content that's going to speak to your brokenness, you'll never need to get healed. And if you get healed, you
Okay, so that is the guy Mouse. I'm not too much of a fan of him. I remember he was on the panel show, The Grapevine, and he used to say have some very insightful information on there. But then he kind of, of course, went corporate, and his message somewhat changed. And even in this interview, he kind of walked back his statement where he said people are making content for broken Black women. And that's basically what we've been saying for a while now. And I've been trying to help Black women wake up like, hey, man, they see y'all as a money grab. Because anything you say that disparages Black men or makes you look good, you guys gravitate towards it and you'll give money. But y'all got to stop, because you're making these people rich. And this content creator, Legacy of Pretty, she's going to explain why. Here we go.
You don't need them anymore.
Why do you? Wait. Back up. Did you say there's the marketplace is broken Black women? That's what he said.
Yeah, they didn't like that. They don't like being talked about. But let me say something. Derek Jackson, he was one of the biggest panderers, if you will, that was telling Black women everything they wanted to hear. Everything they wanted to hear. They loved it. There's nothing wrong with you, queen. This is why he's doing this. This is why he's doing that. Then came all the rappers saying men ain't good for nothing but A, B, C, D. And it just, for decades, it was men are crap. Men are sorry. Men are trapping me with babies. Men ain't this. And then Dr. Umar comes along and he's like, Black queen, you dumb as a stump. So don't worry about taking any responsibility for anything. Of course, he didn't say it that way, but it might as well have been what he said, because nothing is a woman's fault. It's not our sister's fault that the brother was in jail. Sir, my father went to college.
She said, it's not our sister's fault that the brothers went to jail. So she sees it as well. So it's not just me. It's other female content creators doing the same thing. Like, they were like, well, hold on, man. It can't be all Black men's fault. You keep telling them this foolery, then nothing's going to change. And we got to start having some realistic conversations. Like I said, Mona does a great job of this. Bella Rings does a great job. This young woman does a great job of doing this and kind of pointing out the BS. Like, come on, man. We want to see y'all win. Like, I promise you, I just had a conversation with my homeboy where, and I'm pretty sure he'll be okay with me sharing a little bit of this, but he's a very successful tech guy and he lives in Germany. And he was basically explaining that every time he goes on a work trip, he's the only black person there, right? And I asked him, I said, man, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel good or bad? And he said, well, how can that make me feel good? And I was basically coming from a standpoint of, hey, man, because you can be in these spaces because you work hard to get there. And we had a great conversation about this. And he said something. He basically said, hold on. He said, these experiences have motivated me a bit to better understand the perspectives of successful black women. Given my own challenges in navigating these norms, especially with my military experiences involving white men, I can only begin to imagine how our women must feel in similar situations. This is what my friend said. So I responded to him and I said, same. I said, the black women thing. At least as men, we're somewhat prepared to handle indifference or being alone around people who don't think or look like us. I have so much to share with black women, but they're so difficult sometimes. I work with a lot of African women, and I can definitely see the difference. A little bit more calmness, maybe because they didn't have to experience the work that us African Americans had to do when to get where we are, right? And I think that's one of the main differences as to, like we have a slight African versus African American war, like not war, I won't say that, but it's some indifference there. I'll say that much, right? And I think one of the main reasons is that, African folks, they'll come over here from the continent and they'll see, where they came from wasn't as good as, America is and the opportunities that they have, and they take advantage of it. And that's actually a good thing, right? But they look at us like we're not doing enough, but maybe we just tired, from fighting all our damn lives in the US, and having to battle through all these issues to get to the point of, where we are, some successful minorities where we can be in these spaces. And I was just telling him, I was like, yeah, man, I hear a lot of black women complaining about, being the only one and they can't be their true authentic selves in these corporate spaces. And we kind of can understand that because in my career field, it's not that many African American, men in these spaces in the public health career field, right? It's typically white women and Africans, and I'm kind of the minority when we go to our, meetings or we travel for educational purposes and things of that nature. And it's to us being in the military, it's easy for us to adapt because if you guys have served before, like I never stayed at a base more than 3 years. Well, the only base that I stayed at more than 3 years was my 4-year special duty at the Pentagon. Other than that, I never stayed at a base for more than 3 years. And knowing that, that you was going to leave and travel and go to and have to live to another country or another state, we get used to adapting in these particular spaces like very fast. Sometimes it's easier for men to make friends, like real friends, and it don't have to be based off of what you're giving me in return. We just maybe like the same sports team or something like that. Or if we don't like the same sports team, we can argue about, our team being rivals and we become friends just based off that nature. And it's easy for us to adapt. But for women, sometimes it can be very, I'll say very intimidating, and I know a lot of black women don't like to talk about these things because, they like to carry this mindset like, yeah, I'm so big and bad and, I'm a strong, independent. I'm like, man, no, sometimes it may be wise of you to talk to some black men who are in these spaces and they can kind of walk you through or help you deal with the issues of being the only one of your color in these spaces. And we talk about these things all the time. Like, I swear, man, I be wanting to sit down and talk to some of these women, man, and just be calm. Like, hey, man, you ain't got to be like that with me. I'm good. I don't get paid to argue, but I'm here to help. I want to sit down and talk and chat. Let's fix some of these things. Let's talk about it. But even that's frowned upon in these spaces. And I'm like, man, Don't understand it. But yeah, we had a great conversation about this, you know. It's unfortunate that we can't, get to that point. But I know I got a little bit off track here, but let me get back to the video. My bad, y'all. But yeah, I just wanted to share it. Like I talk about a lot of things when it comes to the Black community and trying to mend our relationships with our women, and I just wish that they understood as a whole, like, man, we not your enemy. We not competing with y'all, but we just get sick and tired of y'all trying to blame us for everything and also not acknowledging the statistics, and it's a sad situation, man, but let's continue.
So what are you talking about? But it's not the sister fault that they're getting the BBLs. It's because men looking at women with BBLs. And y'all sit right there and eat that shit up. Because I'm too stupid to know that a BBL is surgery and to go down and get the BBL and then to get all the clothes to go with the BBL. I don't know. I just doing it for the men. And y'all sit right there and eat that shit up. Why? Because you don't have to do shit. You just stay exactly how you are. You do whatever the hell you want. Have as many babies. You can do whatever you want. Get your degrees, build your house, go into debt. You can do all this shit, and men are supposed to still want you. You can cuss them out, bust them upside the head, put a baby on them, key up his car, because you have trauma. You haven't healed. You are not fucking toddlers. And I'm tired of you guys amening being dumb and not understanding how reproduction works. Not understanding that this is your body. Use it how you see fit. However, if you use it in the wrong way, it's going to have consequences. And guess what? Nobody has to give a fuck about your consequences.
Yeah, and that's that's one of the main things that I really didn't understand about these spaces. I didn't know why it was an argument when it comes to a woman reproducing, and we have these circular, discussions about who's at fault. It's not about who's at fault. It's about who's ultimately responsible for bringing a child into this world. And I don't think people approach it as such, especially women. I'm like, and I've said this before, when a woman doesn't want to have a child, she won't have a child. And it's that simple. So our women cannot sit there and tell me that a man forced you to have a buckaroo. How many times does that work? A man sitting there telling a woman, hey, you need to have this kid or else. Can men do that legally? No. So I never really understood why that conversation hasn't, been ended yet. It's a very simple process, because I know very responsible women. I used to date them all the time. If they didn't want to have a kid, they took the necessary steps to make sure it didn't happen. If they didn't want to risk their lives in regards to getting an STI or something like that, you get tested. You make sure that you're clean. You're good to go. So I just never understood the argument. I didn't even know why it was an argument. Women are responsible for bringing children into the world. Yeah, man has to, ski the seed in you, for lack of a better word, ejaculate. But I'm like, damn, at that point, once it happens, yeah, you're responsible. You have a decision to make. So it's not that man's fault. I mean, I hate using the word fault, but damn, I never understood it. So let's continue.
You don't get to pick the consequences. They don't have to give a damn. And they also don't have to like it. So if you want to eat whatever you want to weigh 300-400 pounds, you don't have the right to tell a 185-pound, 6'3" dude that he has to like you for exactly who you are. You don't have that right. But see, you want to call him, oh, he's just superficial. He's just a terrible person. He don't understand. I'm too good for him. Okay, yeah. Keep telling yourself that. You and your girlfriends on your girl trip. Keep telling each other that. Yeah, girl, you too good for him. That's it. You're too good for him. That ain't it. You ain't worth it. I know. It's hard to believe that you can walk around and just somebody not want you. Isn't that amazing? Yes. Everybody's not looking at you. Everybody don't want you. So what you're not going to do is sit here and say, oh, that's not true. We don't listen to people that pander us. Yes, you do. Because Derek Jackson did that little shit to his wife. And now he's still up here talking shit. And y'all right there, he is telling the truth.
Yeah, did y'all know that, Derek Jackson is still cooking? This brother put down more videos than anybody. And he hasn't lost any subscribers or followers. So that should tell you something right there. Like, God, dog, this dude, his wife is at fault as well. She was a willing participant, I must say. But he was wilding out there, you know what I'm saying? And nothing's changed. So, I can't knock the brother. He getting his bread. And, women still listening. So it is what it is, man. Damn.
But then Kevin Samuels sit here and tell you, you can't have 4 babies and 4 baby daddies and expect somebody to want to marry you. And you want to call him toxic and cheer when he did. Yeah. Y'all got problems.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that. And I told you guys multiple times, I'll never forget the way some of our women cheered when Kevin Samuels passed. It was jokes. There's still women that talk about Kevin Samuels, you know what I'm saying, in a derogatory manner. That was embarrassing for the Black community because it actually kind of put a dent in my hope, to see if there was a chance of us kind of, coming back to the table and making sure everything was good to go between Black men and Black women. Because when I saw that, I was like, damn, that was pretty wild. But shout out to her legacy of pretty. And like I said, I've been actively searching, not necessarily for women who, want to get bread just because they talk about women. I think she was very measured in her approach. It just seemed like she understood what the hell was going on and she was talking directly to the women. And I think it's our job as men in these spaces to talk to men as well. And that does include involving women, because women have a lot to do with, with how men think and move in this world, and I'm definitely not trying to come at it in a derogatory manner, but I just want to make sure that we're on the right page, so shouts out to her once again, man. That was a great video. So hopefully women listen to what she said, and she had to do response videos because she was fighting, in her comment section because women was coming at her, calling to pick me and all this. I'm like, man, y'all just don't get it. But it is what it is. So it's unfortunate. So let me get to some of these super chats. I think I saw a couple, maybe 1 or 2. Let me see. We got Men's Help Channel. What's going on with the send out super chat? It says, off topic, do you offer career advice? I'm having trouble obtaining a new employment and don't know if my current employer is keeping me from getting employed elsewhere. How would your current employer hurt your chances? Are you putting them as a reference or something like that? And they're, maybe sabotaging or whatever? Yeah, I'm not sure, man. But if you want to do a consult, we could definitely talk about it. I'm pretty good at reviewing resumes. We do that for my, I have a full-time job. So when we have to consider hiring somebody new, I sit on the boards. I know how to, analyze certain answers that we get to questions. So if you want to make a consult, hit me up on Calendly. We'll cook, brother. Let's see here. Men's Help Channel said, member for 8 months. Said, if you're watching, you should like it. Appreciate that, brother. Get the like. So thank you, good brother. Let's see here. And we got Dr. Evil Genius said, come on. You already know they're not trying to hear what she has to say. Yeah, and it was just embarrassing. She had to fight for her life in the comment section, man. Damn. Terrell Evans, what's going on, brother? With the $30 super chase, says, salute, media man. You're doing the work. So I'm sending my contributions. I greatly appreciate it, man. These shows, just to make sure that we wouldn't get copywritten for these book videos that I have. I have to do a lot of work to do this so you guys can hear it, because I think it's definitely important, especially with this poster that I saw. I know it's from a while ago, but it's definitely relevant in today's world, and specifically for the younger guys, in these spaces. So we have 88 folks in here. It was about 100. So make sure the likes are up. If you want your chat read, please send a super chat. I greatly appreciate it because I want to get to this, these book references, and I want to get this information out. So please send a super chat or a cash app if you can, so I can get to your comments faster. Let me see if we got any cash apps before we go. Okay, we good to go there. Thank you. Let me see here. Anything else? PayPal. Nope, we good to go. Okay. Let me pull that back up. So let me show you guys why I wanted to talk about this, because I think this is very important for younger guys and any men who may have young men who are about to go to college. This is a very important topic. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Did you guys see this this poster that was floating around social media? Let me read to you what it says. I'll make it a little bit wider. So it says, Jake was drunk, Josie was drunk, Jake and Josie hooked up, meaning they had sex. Josie could not consent. You see where the you see where the difference is in that? So they just said both of them was drunk, but only the woman wasn't able to consent, right? Then you go down, says the next day, Jake was charged with grape. A woman who was intoxicated could not give her legal consent for sex. So proceeding under these circumstances is a crime. It only takes a single day to ruin your life. Think about it. Be responsible. And it's from a university. I can't see the name out there. But basically what they're saying is, even if a man is drunk and the woman is drunk, only the woman is the one that can't consent. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of education on this topic, because I know this kind of infuriated a lot of people. It's like, man, well, the guy was drunk too. But there are certain cases out there. And Malcolm Gladwell, in his book, Talking to Strangers, he actually reviewed one case in this particular university where this exact thing happened. So what I did was grab a couple of his words from his book in regards to this topic. So basically, I want you guys, for all the fathers and mothers out there, if you have sons and they're old enough to understand this, you guys need to protect them. And you also need to let women listen to this as well. Because sometimes when we have these conversations about consent and alcohol, they tend to stop at the door because people don't want to offend women by saying that we're victim blaming or things of that nature. No, that's not it. We need to have conversations about these things and understand why certain situations happen, especially in the college campuses. Because I believe the last report said it was about 1 in 5 or 1 in 10 women were essayed and in college, on college campuses. So this is a very important topic. And instead of just giving my opinion on this poster, I wanted to share you guys some of my knowledge from a book that I read a while back. And I just remembered this played a very important part in the way that I discuss certain things with the young men that I talk to offline, right? So you guys pay attention. This is going to be really good. I promise you that. This is one of the education parts that I want you guys to listen to. So here we go. This is Malcolm Gladwell, one from his book, Talking to Strangers. Excellent book. Excellent read. Here we go. Fair use.
5 American female college students say that they have been the victim of sexual assault. A good percentage of those cases follow this pattern. The challenge in these kinds of cases is reconstructing the encounter. Did both parties consent? Did one party object and the other party ignore that objection? Or misunderstand it? If the transparency assumption is a problem for police officers making sense of suspects, or judges trying to read defendants, then it's clearly going to be an issue for teenagers and young adults navigating one of the most complex of human domains. In a 2015 Washington Post Kaiser Family Foundation poll of 1,000 college students, they were asked whether they thought various behaviors established consent for more sexual activity.
So this is where the disconnect comes in between both men and women. The study was based on consent, and they asked both men and women. Listen to how the percentages differ, because both parties either don't know what consent is or they think they know what consent is, but the other gender doesn't match what the other gender thinks. So this is one of the biggest problems. Listen to this, guys and ladies.
50% of men said yes to takes off their own clothes versus 44% of women.
So let me explain, and I'm sorry for stopping it, but if you don't understand what he's talking about here, men, he said 50% of men believe that consent means that, hey, if I'm taking off my own clothes, then that means that there's consent to have sexual relations. Whereas 44% of women said no, or they're like only 44% of women think that taking off their clothes is a sign of consent. So there's a 6% difference there. And that 6% may be where the issue is, because the man may think, hey, if I'm taking off my own clothes and she taking off her own clothes, then that's basically her saying, I consent to the sexual activity that's about to happen. But that 6% difference is where the problem is. That makes sense, guys? Put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense, because there's some other percentages here, and I just want to make sure I clear that up for anybody who was somewhat lost. Does that make sense? Please put a 1 in the chat. It's a very important topic, so I want to make sure, I'm not trying to be, stern, but yeah, okay. GC said 1, Primatology said 1, Men's Health Channel 1, Jay 1, Oliver, St. Cyr. Cool. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. All right, so here we go. So I have to explain again. Here we go.
To the question, gets a condom, 58% of women said no to 51% of men. Or how about something?
That's a big one, right? Pause. 58% of women said if I'm going to get a condom or he's going to get a condom, that still does not mean that I'm consenting to sex. You see that? Right? So yeah, it's tough. So this is important. So let's continue.
Something like nods in agreement. 58% of men take this as a yes versus 51% of women. Only 15% of women believed engages in foreplay such as kissing or touching means some kind of consent. 30% of men believe it does. Consent would be a straightforward matter if all college students agreed that getting a condom meant implicit consent to sex, or if everyone agreed that foreplay, such as kissing or touching, did not constitute an invitation to something more serious. When the rules are clear, each party can easily and accurately infer what the other wants from the way he or she behaves. But what the poll shows is there are no rules. On every issue, there are women who think one way and women who think another, men who think like some women but not others, and a perplexing number of people of both sexes who have no opinion at all. The Washington Post poll found that half of all young men and women are unclear on whether clear agreement is necessary for sexual activity. But
half of young men and women are still unclear on what consent to sexual activity actually means. And like I said, we have to have these conversations, and that's why it's very important to have these discussions when your kids or the people that you're around are young, so they won't go to college and start, guessing. It's not the time to guess at college, especially for men, because men are the minority there. And, college is a little bit more geared towards women these days. So we have to make sure that men are aware, right? And that doesn't, not me making excuses for men who do SA women. Absolutely not. Y'all know I'm against that. But we have to have these conversations so we can prevent some of these things happening. Here we go. Fair use once again.
does it mean that they haven't thought about it before? Does it mean that they would rather proceed on a case-by-case basis? Does it mean they reserve the right to sometimes proceed without explicit consent and at other times to insist on it? Amanda Knox confounded the legal system because there was a disconnect between the way she acted and the way she felt. But this is transparency failure on steroids.
So, and that's a great point, Malcolm Gladwell. How she felt and how she acted are two different things. There's been multiple cases where a woman has made the argument that she didn't want to do it or whatever, but there was a situation where she didn't feel like her speaking up would have stopped the issue, right? Or stopped the situation. So she just kept quiet. But in her head, she didn't want to do it. So like I said, instead of waiting until this stuff boils over, we have to have these mature conversations where nobody's pointing a finger and you're just listening to learn and understand, so we can implement certain preventative measures to make sure that we either lower or get rid of all these SA cases altogether, right? So like I said, I know this may be touchy, and I just want to make sure that we're in an educational space where we can have this adult discussion. So let's continue.
When one college student meets another, even in cases where both have the best of intentions, the task of inferring sexual intent from behavior is essentially a coin flip. As legal scholar Laurie Shaw asks, how can we expect students to respect boundaries when no consensus exists as to what they are? There is a second, complicating element in many of these encounters, however. When you read through the details of the campus sexual assault cases that have become so depressingly common, the remarkable fact is how many involve an almost identical scenario. A young woman and a young man meet at a party, then proceed to tragically misunderstand each other's intentions, and they're drunk. Consent is something that two parties negotiate on the assumption that each side in a negotiation is who they say they are. But how can you determine consent when, at the moment of negotiation, both parties are so far from their true selves? What happens to us when we get drunk?
All right, so this is going to be some education on the biology of what happens when you get drunk, right? And this is very important because I know we don't talk about this. Like I said, I like whiskey. I study whiskey. I judge whiskey. These are things that I like to do, but I definitely never overindulge. But that's not to say that I haven't before. I was in the military for 20 years. Absolutely. I've been to parties where I've been towed back from the flow back or whatever, right? But when I got older, of course, got more fitness minded, nutrition minded. No, I stopped getting drunk just to get drunk. I mean, I would feel pissed off at myself if I finished a full bottle of whiskey in one night. That's wasting good whiskey. So, but yeah, so this is definitely going to be an important part. But I'm gonna take a quick break here, guys, because like I said, I'm juicing. Y'all see the skin is glowing. Pause. So I gotta use the restroom real quick, and we will be right back. Give me 1 second. Let me see what I got music wise. Here we go. Give me a second. Bam. Let me get some of these super chats. I think I saw a couple come in before. Let's see here. We got Reese. What's going on, Reese Johnson, with the 499 super chat? Said passport helps with this issue. Why is intimacy borderline illegal in this country? Man, it's tough. So I know it's a touchy subject, but just trying to prevent things from happening, man. Yes, it's tough. Tough situation. So let's get back to it. So again, like I said, here's a little bit of biology on what happens when you get drunk and how it hinders your judgment, right? Let me see. I'm good. Okay, here we go.
Is a function of the particular path the alcohol takes as it seeps through our brain tissue. The effects begin in the frontal lobes, the part of our brain behind our forehead that governs attention, motivation, planning, and learning. The first drink dampens activity in that region. It makes us a little dumber, less capable of handling competing, complicated considerations. It hits the reward centers of the brain, the areas that govern euphoria, and gives them a little jolt. It finds its way into the amygdala. The amygdala's job is to tell us how to react to the world around us. Are we being threatened? Should we be afraid? Alcohol turns the amygdala down a notch. The combination of these three effects is where myopia comes from. We don't have the brain power to handle more complex, long-term considerations. We're distracted by the unexpected pleasure of the alcohol. Our neurological burglar alarm is turned off. We become altered versions of ourselves, beholden to the moment. Alcohol also finds its way to your cerebellum at the very back of your brain, which is involved in balance and coordination. That's why you start to stumble and stagger when intoxicated. These are the predictable effects of getting drunk. But under certain very particular circumstances, especially if you drink a lot of alcohol very quickly, something else happens. Alcohol hits the hippocampus, small, sausage-like regions on each side of the brain that are responsible for forming memories about our lives.
Did y'all hear that? The hippocampus. Here we go.
At a blood alcohol level of roughly 0.08, the legal level of intoxication, the hippocampus starts to struggle. When you wake up the morning after a cocktail party and remember meeting someone but cannot for the life of you remember their name or the story they told you, that's because the 2 shots of whiskey you drank in quick succession reached your hippocampus. Drink a little more, and the gaps get larger, to the point where maybe you remember pieces of the evening, but other details can be summoned only with the greatest of difficulty. Today, 2 things have changed. First, the heavy drinkers of today drink far more than the heavy drinkers of 50 years ago. When you talk to students today about 4 drinks or 5 drinks, they just sort of go, "Oof, that's just getting started," reports alcohol researcher Kim Fromme. She says that the heavy binge drinking category now routinely includes people who have had 20 drinks in a sitting.
20 drinks in a sitting, right? And it's funny, when I used to be in Korea and I lived in the quad with my homeboys, they used to laugh at me because I was still competitive bodybuilding at the time. So when I would drink, and that was when Ciroc was like the biggest thing out there. This was around 2010, 2011. So after every exercise in Korea, we would run to the BX and we would grab Ciroc, red berry. And I used to pour it the right way, which basically means I would get a shot glass and I would pour the Ciroc into the shot glass because it's 1.5 ounces. And then I would pour it into the drink. So everybody would be like, "Hey, go pour me one the right way," or whatever, right? Because instead of free pouring, which is what a lot of people do, we was, trying to make sure we saved our liquor. So we want to make sure that we poured it the right way, right? And I have a funny story about me competitive bodybuilding and how that almost got me a DUI. And this was right after I got step promoted in the Air Force. If you guys are familiar with that, if we have any of my Air Force folks, I was actually step promoted to the rank of E6 while I was stationed in Portugal. And that basically means that, hey, it's stripes for exceptional performers. So my supervisor saw that, I just got my degree, and she put me in for, a step promotion, and I actually received it, right? And so while, I was about to go out to celebrate or whatever to like the one little club that the military folks go to, I was getting ready at my house, and it's like 20 minutes away from the club. And I took one shot of, what was I drinking? I think it was maybe Ciroc. Took one shot of Ciroc. I had like some water, you know what I'm saying? Just, I wasn't even paying attention. I wasn't drunk at all or whatever, right? But being that I was still dieting for a show, my body fat content was very low. So when I drank or took that shot of vodka, it went straight to my bloodstream, like immediately, right? And I wasn't feeling any effects. I was good to go. So I hopped in my car. I'm driving, to the club, and there's this hill where you can barely see the stop sign. And by the time you see it, you already passed it. So when I went over this, I went over this hill and I went through the stop sign on accident. And sure enough, to the right of me was Portuguese police, right? And they stopped me, and I was like, oh shit. And I wasn't even really thinking about the liquor, because I had one shot. They pulled me over and they said, hey, did you see that stop sign? And I told him, I said, no, I didn't see the stop sign or whatever. And he's like, you've been drinking? And I was like, I had one drink. I was honest back then. I'm just happy. I didn't think nothing was wrong. So they was like, hey, we're going to have you blow on the breathalyzer. And so when I blew on this breathalyzer, it came back like 0.5 or something like that. And I know in the States it's 0.8 in most places, right? And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool. But they was like, no, in Portugal, it's the legal limit is 0.5. So I was like, what the hell? How did I just get step promoted and I'm about to get a DUI? But the funny thing is, they had me park my car, and this was crazy. They had me park my car. If I was supposedly drunk, I ain't supposed to get back in the car and be driving. So they had me do a U-turn and park my car into a safe place, and I had to get into the patrol car. No cuffs or anything like that. But to confirm it, you have to do a breathalyzer test, at the station. So that quick 2-minute drive to the police station, I took the breathalyzer test, and I blew like a 0.1. My body had metabolized that liquor so fast because of my working out and bodybuilding that by the time they got me to the station, it was already like pretty much out of my system, right? So they was like, all right, you can go. And I was like, all right. And that was the end of that situation. It was the funniest thing and the funny thing, after they let me, not let me go, but I was kind of turned around from where I was supposed to go to the club. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, how do I get back? How do I get to this club? And the police officers, they were cool. They was like, hey, we're going to take you back to your car or whatever. And we'll, just follow us and we'll take you to the club. So followed them, took them to the club, and they was in there like kind of patrolling and chilling. And we was just talking while I was hanging with my friends or whatever. So it was like a pretty straightforward situation, but it did scare me. I was like, man, that taught me something about drinking while trying to diet on this damn, bodybuilding kick or whatever. So yeah, so I almost got a DUI right after I got step promoted, which is crazy. So after that day, I told myself, yeah, I'm never touching a drink before I'm driving again, even though everything worked out. This is a crazy situation. So it kind of woke me up, so to speak. But yeah, I know y'all didn't come to hear my military stories, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So let's continue. Here we go.
Blackouts, once rare, have become common. Aaron White recently surveyed more than 700 students at Duke University. Of the drinkers in the group, over half had suffered a blackout at some point in their lives. 40% had had a blackout in the previous year, and almost 1 in 10 had had a blackout in the previous 2 weeks. Second, the consumption gap between men and women, so pronounced a generation ago, has narrowed considerably, particularly among white women. The same trends aren't nearly as marked among Asians, Hispanics, or African Americans.
Did y'all hear that? Said the gap between, drinkers has narrowed from back in the day. And I know we like to make jokes about, like the 1950s when the husband would come back home and there wasn't no dinner cooking and like, what? You didn't make no lasagna? And you just pop or whatever, but they said that women are starting to drink more, in particular, white women. White women are drinking more at these colleges than any other racial demographic. So brothers, pay attention. Hey, trying to help y'all out. I know y'all be trying to, talk mess, about black women and black women this and that, but y'all know the history that a lot of white women have with black men of like accusing us of, false things. What was the young kid's name? Stickney or Steiny case where he got into the elevator with the white woman and he ended up getting the electric chair. Y'all remember that? That's just one of the situations where, black men have been falsely accused by white women. So if they're telling you, if the studies say that white women are drinking more in these colleges, then this might be something that you guys want to pay attention to, brothers, if you got young boys going into, in the college, right? So let's continue.
I asked Kim Fromme about this.
I think it's an empowerment issue. I see it. I do a lot of consulting work in the military, and it's easier for me to see it there, quite frankly, than it is in the college environment, because in the military, the women are really put to the same, standards as men in terms of, their physical, boot camps and training and all of that. And they've worked very hard to try to say, we're like the men,
This is the military. She's basically saying what I've said before, right? Women are trying to keep up. And this is something that used to happen all the time when I was a security forces member, because we have women in our ranks as well. We'd have these parties and they would try and drink as much as the guys and, get what white boys call it, shit faced. It's a funny word, but yeah. And so they would try and keep up. So she's not lying, So yeah, so let's continue.
And therefore we can drink like the men.
For physiological reasons, this trend has put women at greatly increased risk for blackouts. If a male of average weight has 8 drinks over 4 hours, which would make him a moderate drinker at a typical frat party, he would end up with a blood alcohol reading of 0.107. That's too drunk to drive, but well below the 0.15 level typically associated with blackouts. If a woman of average weight has 8 drinks over 4 hours, by contrast, she's at a blood alcohol level of 0.173. She's blacked out. It gets worse, Aaron White says. Women are also increasingly drinking wine and spirits, which raise blood alcohol concentration, or BAC, much faster than beer.
All right. I talked about this before, about women drinking that damn wine. Y'all, I know y'all have seen this influx of women making videos, drinking bottles of wine and having this big glass bowl of corks of the wine that they've drank. And I get it. I'm a wine drinker as well. I aerate wine all the time, just so we can have a better experience with the wine that we get. And this is off topic, but HEB has an amazing selection of wine. If you guys didn't know that, they also have premium wine as well, like highly expensive wines that you may want to save or break out for a special occasion. HEB, my goodness. Like I just made catfish the other day and I was able to pair it with a particular wine that goes well with it, right? And I got that from HEB. So I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, I think women got to watch out with drinking all this dang wine, and not necessarily, for health reasons, sure, but also from getting drunk. So let's continue.
Women are also more likely to skip meals when they drink than men, although men do it too. And having a meal in your stomach when you drink reduces your peak BAC by about 1/3.
Women skip meals more than men when they drink because they don't want to, like sometimes when women go out, and this may be a theory of mine, but I've heard women say this before, I'm going to go out on an empty stomach because I don't want my stomach to be poking out in this dress that I'm wearing, right? Especially, like it's okay, you take a girl out to eat, and she got on a nice form-fitting dress. And if you eat a good meal, you're going to have a little bit of pudge right there. I know me getting older, if I eat anything, my abs gone. You know what I'm saying? I got to wait at least 1 to 2 hours before I even think about taking my shirt off, right? Because it's sitting right there. But yeah, women do that more so than men, right? So let's continue.
So in other words, if you drink on an empty stomach, you're going to reach a much higher BAC and you're going to do it much more quickly.
Nor is it just a matter of weight. There are also meaningful differences in the way the sexes metabolize alcohol. Women have much less water in their bodies than men, with the result that alcohol enters their bloodstream much more quickly. And what is the consequence of being blacked out? It means that women are put in a position of vulnerability. Our memory in any interaction with a stranger is our first line of defense. We talk to someone at a party for half an hour and weigh what we've learned. We use our memory to make sense of who the other person is. We collect things they've told us and done, and those shape our response. That is not an error-free exercise in the best of times, but it is a necessary exercise, particularly if the issue at hand is whether you're going to go home with a person. Yet, if you can't remember anything you've just learned, you are necessarily not making the same quality decision you would have if your hippocampus were still working. You have ceded control of the situation. Let's be totally clear. Perpetrators are the ones responsible for committing their crimes, and they should be brought to justice.
Did you hear what Malcolm Gladwell said? So if there's any women that's looking for something to try and be mad at, I just want to be clear. This is not what we're saying. This is not what Malcolm Gladwell is saying. We're not saying that it's a woman's fault by any shape or form. What we are saying, or what we're trying to do, is have a respectful conversation about this topic to encourage prevention. But there are some things that stand in the way of that, and he's going to discuss it right now. So pay attention to this.
Critic Emily Yoffe writes in Slate, "But we are failing to let women know that when they render themselves defenseless, terrible things can be done to them. Young women are getting a distorted message that their right to match men drink for drink is a feminist issue. The real feminist message should be that when you lose the ability to be responsible for yourself, you drastically increase the chances that you will attract the kinds of people who, shall we say, don't have your best interest at heart. That's not blaming the victim. That's trying to prevent more victims. And what of the stranger talking to you? He may not know that you are blacked out. Maybe he leans in and tries to touch you and you stiffen. Then, 10 minutes later, he circles back a little more artfully. Normally, you would stiffen again because you would recognize the stranger's pattern. But you don't this second time because you don't remember the first time. And the fact that you don't stiffen in quite the same way makes the stranger think, under the assumption of transparency, that you are welcoming his advances. Normally, he would be cautious in acting on that assumption. Friendliness is not the same thing as an invitation to intimacy, but he's drunk too. He's in the grip of alcohol myopia, and the kind of longer-term considerations that might otherwise constrain his behavior have faded from view. Does alcohol turn every man into a monster? Of course not.
Did you hear that, ladies? Alcohol does not turn every man into a monster. Let's continue. Fair use.
Myopia resolves high conflict. It removes the higher-order constraints on our behavior. The reserved man, normally too shy to profess his feelings, might blurt out some intimacy. The unfunny man, normally aware that the world does not find his jokes funny, might start playing comedian. Those are harmless. But what of the sexually aggressive teenager, whose impulses are normally kept in check by an understanding of how inappropriate those behaviors are? Young men are getting a distorted message that drinking to excess is a harmless social exercise, Yoffe writes. The real message should be that when you lose the ability to be responsible for yourself, you drastically increase the chances you will commit a sexual crime. Acknowledging the role of alcohol is not excusing the behavior of perpetrators. It is trying to prevent more young men from becoming perpetrators.
Prevention by reducing or eliminating alcohol in these situations, because you think you think more clearly when you're not intoxicated. We all know this.
It is striking how underappreciated the power of myopia is. In the Washington Post Kaiser Family Foundation study, students were asked to list the measures they thought would be most effective in reducing sexual assault. Listen to this.
This is very telling, right? For college kids. Listen to what they said after this study. Here we go. Sorry for stopping it, but pay attention to this.
At the top of that list, they put harsher punishment for aggressors, self-defense training for victims, and teaching men to respect women more. How many thought it would be very effective if they drank less? 33%.
So only 33% felt that if they drank less, then that will prevent all of these SA cases that go on in colleges. Everything that they said that they wanted to implement was reactive, right? Telling men to respect women more, teach self-defense classes. So instead of saying, hey, let's cut down our liquor consumption or let's get rid of liquor completely, they would prefer that men were more respectful to women, and also victims were trained on self-defense. They said victims, not people who hadn't had an issue before. The people who already had an issue, let's teach them how to defend themselves in case, this happens again. So that was very telling to me, and I wanted to share that portion in particular with you guys, because I think prevention is always left by the wayside when we have conversations like this, because everybody is too scared to think that, they're going to say something that that sounds like victim blaming. But no, we got to start about prevention first. We have to be proactive instead of reactive. And being proactive is telling kids, hey, not to drink so much liquor, or just don't drink liquor at all, right? So let's continue.
How many thought stronger restrictions on alcohol on campus would be very effective? 15%. These are contradictory positions. Students think it's a good idea to be trained in self-defense and not such a good idea to clamp down on drinking. But what good is knowing the techniques of self-defense if you're blind drunk? Students think it's a really good idea if men respect women more. But the issue with many cases of campus sexual assault is not how men behave around women when they're sober. It's how they behave around women when they're drunk and have been transformed by alcohol into a person who makes sense of the world around them very differently. Respect for others requires a complicated calculation in which one party agrees to moderate their own desires, to consider the longer-term consequences of their own behavior, to think about something other than the thing right in front of them. And that is exactly what the myopia that comes with drunkenness makes it so hard to do.
All right, man. And again, that's Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. It is one of my favorite books. I learned so much. He reviews many different cases, the Brock Turner case at the Stanford campus, a bunch of other things that you guys will definitely enjoy. I promise you that. And he also actually uses his music on the audiobook between his chapters. He uses a album from Janelle Monáe, right? And this was one of my favorite books. I mean, every time I present one of these to you guys, just know that I've either read it 3 or 4 times, and I've recommended maybe 20 people read the same book, because I got so much out of it. I learned so much, especially being an introvert by trade. Like I said, the military got me out of that, and also working in the corporate health field. I never was too shy to speak to people, but I just didn't like being around people for an extended period of time. So, along with therapy and reading books like this, it got me to open up a little bit more and start talking to people that may not necessarily think like me. And you start to crave that type of interaction, because you never want to be in a space where you're only talking to people that either look like you or think like you. You always want to be in a constant state of learning. And this where, goes into the whole, the topic that we're discussing today in regards to success. You should be trying to learn from people that don't look like you or don't have the same experience as you. And I think I've mastered that throughout my career for the past 20, almost 25 years, from the military to the civilian world. So I can have a conversation with anybody and learn something. And I learned that from the military, mind you, because, you'll be on post with somebody for 14 hours that you necessarily didn't think you have anything in common. And sure enough, 14 hours, now y'all best friends, because y'all sitting in that damn truck together, circling the flight line, protecting aircraft, but you ain't got no choice but to talk to each other. And then you become close friends, and it definitely helps out. And that's why I always tell, especially guys, of course, be mindful of the people that you listen to in these YouTube spaces, because just as dangerous as it is for Black women listening to other Black women who are, trying to, I guess, fearmonger towards them, and also women or men who are pandering to them, that's harmful to them. The same thing can be said for a lot of male spaces, especially in the RP. So I want to be clear, men, you guys have to watch who you follow, who you listen to, because they may not be in a good space themselves. And you can determine that. Hell, it may be some people think that, I'm coming from a crazy place and they shouldn't listen to me. And that's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, if you think that about me, then I don't want to be a detriment to your mental health. So that's why I always listen to, some of my long-term followers and members when they say, hey man, you should do a video about this, because it would definitely help. And I definitely listen. So I definitely want to be an asset, and I want to make sure that you guys are following people that are in a good space, and I know we don't know each other, know each other personally, but sometimes you can just tell, right? Especially if you watch any panel shows, who is just there for chaos, man. And if that's somebody that you following offline, then you may need to do some internal soul searching, because you may be one of the same, just like him. So yes, as much as I'm aware of what women, are getting fed and being pandered to and told them that, you're doing nothing wrong, I'm just as concerned about the men in these spaces as well. So be mindful of that, gentlemen, and it's not me trying to discourage anybody's bag or whatever, but I'm like, damn, man, y'all think about it. Use some discernment and ask yourself, look at that person that you're listening to and listen to their content and think, hey, man, is this person trying to help or hurt? And that's not just to women, it's to y'all as well. Right? So hopefully that makes sense, man. Just pay attention, be mindful. Okay. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't say anything about that. Let's see. Oh, we got super chat from, let's see, LL Music TV. What's going on, brother? With the 999 super chat. Said, Media Man, salute. It seems you're the only one researching accurate data and statistics concerning Black men while debunking false narratives. I respect what you're doing in these spaces. Thank you. Oh, man, it's definitely my pleasure, man. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for the super chat. It's my first time seeing you here. Welcome, brother. Yeah, and like I said, man, and the funny thing is about, me doing these statistical reviews and these videos about this stuff, all this stuff is free to anybody. And it's just funny that most of my detractors, well, the main detractors that I have, it seems to be men, and they'll talk about the stuff that I discuss are the statistics, and they'll say, oh, some of those statistics are incomplete and all this type of foolery. But I'm like, well, if you're going to challenge anything that I say on this space, right? Excuse me. Anything that I discuss in regards to the statistics, you have to present statistics that say something otherwise. You can't just go off of what I'm presenting and say that, no, this is incomplete, or no, this is not right. No, the correct thing and the proper thing to do, if you're going to rebut any type of statistical research that I've done, you have to have your own statistical research to refute what I'm saying or what the study is saying. If you're not able to do that, then shut the hell up, right? There's no need to be making think pieces on me, you know what I'm saying, and all this type of foolery. Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, just because I don't rock with them, they got to try and talk crazy about what I'm talking about over here. I'm like, man, I don't even know who y'all brothers is. People send me the videos. I don't know a lot of people in these spaces, bro. I promise you that. And it's always somebody in the comment section, they'll mention a content creator. This person talked about this before. That's the same thing that this person said. And I'm like, brother, when I tell you that whatever I'm saying is things that I want to talk about, it's not from the fact that I'm literally going to everybody's platform to see what they're talking about and then to parrot what they're saying. Truth be told, and I'm going to tell y'all like this. I have over 500 people blocked on my channel, and the majority of them are content creators because I don't want their message to be muddied with what I'm saying. So I don't see what they're talking about. And that is my hand to God. I would not lie to you guys. I block all other content creators that have similar talking points because I don't want their stuff to bleed into what I'm saying. It's only certain people that I follow, right? And I've discussed this before. I love listening to Zoom to Thailand, Beautiful Lies, Jay Fleming, Mona, Bella Rings, who else? Pick Meek, Single by Choices, Theo Coop, The Cart Before the Horse. That's Single by Choices. The lead attorney. Who else? I'm trying to name off the people that I listen to. I like the Daily Wrap Up crew. Who else? And I know I probably missed some people. My apologies if I missed your name. But yeah, these are the people that Dennis Sperling, my bad. Dennis Sperling, because he supported me, even though we talk about similar things. I like to listen to Dennis because he's a little bit older than me and he has a little bit more knowledge than I have in these spaces. So sometimes I'll peek my head over there and listen to what he's talking about. But other than that, guys, don't give me that much credit. And I'm saying that, I mean, as respectfully as possible. Don't think that I know about your favorite content creators that you've been following for years and years. I don't, because I don't want to see their content. And when I block them, I'll hide their channel. And if it's for some odd reason it pops up on my timeline, I'll say do not recommend this channel because I don't want to see it. Because sometimes our views don't align. And I don't want to be involved in what the hell they got going on. I want them to continue to get their bag and talk about the things that they're talking about. But don't give me credit like that. Because I started this channel based off of a Facebook page, which I continuously run to this day. It has 41,000 followers. It was called The Question of the Day, and then I changed it to Medium Man because, again, when I retired from the military, I did not know that the Black community was having these issues in regards to relationships. So when I learned, I started asking questions on Facebook. Lo and behold, the questions were valid. And I made it to 41,000 followers on Facebook for some odd reason. And this was before I was even monetized on Facebook and on YouTube. So don't give me that much credit, because the first people that I started listening to were women, because I know how men think. After I heard that women were having issues, I would listen to the grapevine. It used to piss me off, but I would listen. I used to listen to certain Black female spaces so I could learn about colorism, in particular the girl Chrissy. I was listening to her and I was like, okay, I get the narrative. She really don't like Black men that much, so let me stop listening to this woman. I would listen to Lip Service from Angela Yee because I heard about them from the Breakfast Club, and I was like, okay, let me see what they got, talking about or whatever. And also the Brilliant Idiots, so on and so forth. But yeah, I just want to be clear. Don't give me that much credit. I don't know your favorite content creators. And they will tell you the same thing. I've never reached out to Medium Man. I don't know him personally. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. He never comment on my page, so I don't even know if I exist. And especially if it's a panel show. I don't know most panel shows. I used to know the Lapeef show. I haven't watched Lapeef in years because of the fact that it just I have my own reasons, right? And the funny thing is, I think JR is a cool brother. You know what I'm saying? But the way my anxiety and my therapy is set up, and me being a healed man is just not conducive to my life, right? So yeah, I just want to be clear. Don't give me that much credit. And I keep saying that. So when you guys put that in my comment section, this person said this or this person said that, I don't know. I promise you I don't. Right? I would not sit here and lie to you guys and say that I'm, listening in to what they're saying so I can pair. No, this is coming from most of the stuff is based off of my experience and the things that I want to discuss, right? Especially a show like this. And from, coming from a military aspect, I know we have a lot of people in this space that were military, but yeah, I think I tackle these, these topics in a different manner. So yeah, so again, if it comes to fertility rates, prison rates, I did not watch anybody's live stream to see what they were talking about, and I decided to do my remix of the topic. Absolutely not. These were things that I saw needed to be discussed, and I wanted to discuss them in my way. All right, so I know you guys are, tethered to certain content creators, but just know your content creator that you love and adore and been watching for years, I probably have them blocked. Okay? All right. I just want to be clear. See here. Saint Cyr said, preach, Medium Man, no diss, but Black folks are very insular as a people. Yeah, and I just want to be clear. Young Boy 13 said these numbers are very telling. Most of these people in college have never been in a fight before, hence why they have such an elevated view of their capability to defend themselves. Yeah, and that was the biggest thing, young boy, to me was that people was like, yeah, we need, self-defense training. But I'm like Malcolm Gladwell say, well, how are you going to defend yourself if you're inebriated? It's crazy. LO Music TV said, absolutely. Yeah, man. I just want to be clear. So Alexander X, Media Man, big facts. Thank you, brother. Jeremy Josias. What's up, Media Man? Blessings. What's going on, good brother? How you? LL Music says, I don't know anybody else doing what you're doing, bro. You're in your own lane. Yeah, and I want to keep it that way. And I know there's some content creators that people have told me that said, they talked about this before, but this is I don't have that much time in the day to sit down and listen to everybody. The reason why I like to watch Theo Coop is because it's entertainment. And I've said this before, when I'm on a meeting or a seminar at work in the morning, I have one earbud with the meeting and I have one earbud with Theo Coop in there. Because I like comedy. It's like my favorite genre of music, podcasts, our favorite genre of movies, podcasts, so on and so forth. So Theo is very entertaining and also informative, right? And I'm just, hey, it is what it is. He decided to put his show out at the right time, and I can listen to it while I'm at work. So yeah, it's funny. I'm gonna say this: lower your expectations in regards to my knowledge of these male-centric spaces. I'll just say that much. Lower your expectations. Don't think that I did research on other content creators. I don't want to know about other content creators because I'm not associated with most of them. Okay? So I just want to be clear. See, Mona says, thank you, L Music, for the super chat. Yeah, again, thank you, brother. Glow said, I experience and act in similar ways, Media Man. Yeah, and I've been very vocal about, me championing the Sigma male lifestyle, me being an introvert by trade, and that carries over to the social media spaces because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with other content creators. But what good would it do for me to make a platform hating on other black men? Because some people get value from those guys and what they're saying. But what I am saying is I want you guys to use a little bit of discernment and think to yourselves, hey, is this conducive to what I'm trying to do? Or do I want to be associated with this type of message? I don't want to be associated with a podcast that is looked at as hating black women, right? Because even though you see me as a black man, I got on the suit, you know what I'm saying? And our women will see that. Oh yeah, he already don't like us. Even if they think that, I don't care. But I just don't want to be associated with the type of content that women will realistically go over there and listen to and be like, oh yeah, this guy really hates black women, right? Because that's not my aim. I don't care about a woman's preference. I just want I want both men and women to have the best information possible to where you can succeed in your own lane. And I say that all the time about black women. If you think that black men are less than, then by all means, please go try and find a white man. Nobody is stopping you here. You're not threatening, black men by saying, I'm going to date outside my race. Because I keep telling black women, black men are going to continue doing that. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't care about a woman's preference. If you want a man who make $350,000 a year, by all means, go out on the dating market and see if you can get that. You got 7 kids by 7 different men. Oh yeah, this is true. There's a woman going viral on TikTok right now. Right now, at this moment, she has 7 kids by 7 different men. And also, her 16-year-old daughter just had a child. Yeah. This woman actually runs her own nonprofit organization to help I guess young mothers and fathers or whatever. But it's going viral right now. Now, if that woman comes out like the other woman who has 7 kids on tonight's conversation, and she says that, hey, is it possible for me to get a good man? And people lie to this woman and tell her yes. Why am I gonna jump in the comment section and be like, hey, hey, you wrong, you gonna die alone? No, I don't care. If that's what you think, and all this information is out there, when you know it's gonna be a tough time, but you want to get, some affirmations from other women, go ahead and do it. Because I can't feel sorry for those type of people, because there's so much information out there telling you what it is. And that goes for men too. So that's not my aim. I don't care about all that frivolous stuff. I ain't gonna argue with no man or woman about their preferences. I could care less, because at the end of the day, you got to go out there in the dating market and prove that you can get what you say your standards are, require. I mean, I'll laugh at you, but I mean, it is what it is. So, see here, me business. Let's see here. What's going on? Say I got to go look up how to block channels, because some of those fools keep popping up on my recommended list. YouTube algorithm needs to be fine-tuned. Yeah, and it definitely needs to be fine-tuned, because there's guys that make videos about me, and for some odd reason they're still able to see my videos to react to them, right? And the best way that I know, when they pop up on my feed, I'll just put do not recommend channel, and I'll go to their page and I'll say hide this channel or block notifications. I do all that because I don't want to be involved. Even the people that discourage or talk about what I'm saying, I don't even listen to their videos. It pops up and I'll see the title, maybe listen to 30 seconds. Oh man, he's saying this and that, and I'll immediately block them. I don't care, because those guys will never get a response from me. I'm safe, bro. I'm safe. I got my family. I'm safe. That's when beef is brought to my door, then it's a problem. And I'm going to neutralize that beef as soon as possible. But as of now, YouTube, I'm safe. All right? So all this conversation and beef and all this stuff, it don't mean nothing to me. Unless you show up in front of my door, then we got a problem. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. All right. And I promise you this, it ain't going to go the way you plan. And this is no threat to anybody. I'm just letting you guys know. It's not a lot of people that know how to shoot very well. I shoot well. All right. So let's be clear on that. I wasn't in the military for 20 years for no reason. I didn't go on 10 deployments for no reason. I don't have a combat medal for no reason, which is very rare in the Air Force, mind you, if you guys don't know that. There's not a lot of even Air Force people. When I was in the military and I transferred to medical, when I would wear my dress blues, they would ask, what is that medal for? That candy stripe medal for? Because a lot of Air Force members don't have that. It's very normal in the Army, in the Marines, some Navy members, Navy SEALs, they have, combat experience, but not in the Air Force. So that should tell you something right there. It's just, I have things that I have to protect. So it's not going to go as you plan. Just want to let that be known. Jeremy Dosias with the 1999 Super Chat said, your stats are fake. Media man, what you talking about? And no, I don't have facts to refute them. They're just fake because I'm an emotional buffoon and I say so. And that's how the conversations tends to go. Like, it's like, man, yeah, they're incomplete. Like, stop looking at it as I'm making this up. Go find your own research that rebuts what I'm saying. And I don't understand why people do foolery like that. See, me business said, would love to see you on Daily Wrap Up Crew, especially would love to see you on Club Shay Shay. It'll work on your stratospheric rise. The public needs me. Yeah, man. And there's certain spaces I would definitely love to go to. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but the majority of them, man, I'm just like, I just don't want to be associated, because if they see me with some particular person and I know about this person's history, this is not a good look. Especially, I mean, I don't want my daughter to see that, so. Let's see here. Queese, what's going on? Said Media Man. For some, them numbers are stressful, just saying. And like I said, I get it. I definitely get it. If you're in the spotlight in regards to these numbers, you're gonna feel some type of way. Just like I understand, and I genuinely sympathize with single mothers because they didn't know all this information on how men thought about dating and or marrying a woman with children. This was never presented to them. So now they got an influx of men telling them the truth and what we always thought about dating single mothers and what we have to consider. And so, of course, they're going to be pissed off, right? Like, what? You really mean to tell me that you think I'm not a good enough option just because I got 5 kids? Y'all think I'm lying? The black community never discussed this. It used to be in the church where, you know what I'm saying, the woman couldn't sit up front if she was a single mother, she had children at a wedlock. They would ship her to another city to go live with the auntie or uncles or I don't know, back in the day. But recently, these young kids, 30, maybe 40 years old, they ain't never heard this type of pushback. These women having all these kids and they saying, hey, the funniest thing, they always say on Kendra G's show that a man doesn't have to be a parent to my kids or he doesn't have to provide for my kids. And even Kendra G is starting to tell them, like, man, what sense does that make? If a man moves into your house, it's not like he going to order a pizza and he going to eat the whole pizza in front of your 4 kids' faces because you telling them that he ain't got to take care of your kids. No, if he in the house and he marry you, he going to take care of them buckaroos. So that's why men always talk about the money aspect when dealing with women with multiple children. Even though you say, well, they have a father, they're involved in their life, and he ain't got to come in and be daddy. Well, he's living in the house, ma'am. You have kids that are under 10 years old. He's not going to just be spending money on you and him. But they never heard this. So they feel pissed off. And I get it. But this is the best time to learn, in my opinion, because men are being more vocal. So I wish the black community understood that. Lamar Wise said that's what flying under the radar looks like. This brother right here. Yeah, man, and I'm not really with the rah-rah type stuff, bro. I don't, like I said, man, I tell people all the time, I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Oliver, Media Man, keep that thing on him. Man, everybody in Texas, everybody in Texas got something. So, oh, man. Queese, people can't remove themselves from the combo to see the data from the macro level. Yeah, man, it's and like I said, the best thing that happened to this space were 2 things. Kevin Samuels, of course, the way, you know, when he was talking to women and trying to help them understand, but also, and some guys may not like this, Kendra G show. She started off crazy. She was rocky as hell when she had that interview with Kevin Samuels, right? But even she has started to understand, like, shit, I just can't do this show without asking some questions. And that's all it takes. And I was the same way, right? And that's why I started the Facebook channel. I thought that I would be able just to come in here, listen to the conversation, do the research, see that it's untrue, present the truth, and everybody will be happy. No. No, not at all. I thought for sure my days as a content creator would be short-lived because I thought that, well, let me just go ahead and show them what the real statistics say and everybody would be happy. Kumbaya. Yeah. No. Not at all. So K. Nate Burton said, well said. Thank you, brother, man. That's a cold tuxedo in your profile picture, man. Mr. Donnie Mack said, Media Man, I'd recommend an interview with Dr. Tiesan Johnson on his other page, the Institute of Black Male Studies. Yeah, he's a good follow. Good follow. I like Dr. Tiesan Johnson. He knows that. Let's see. Oliver said, Mr. Donnie Mack, Dr. Tiesan Johnson, the Media Man, will be an absolute banger. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I and I didn't mention his name with the people that I follow, but I definitely do. I'm I'm pretty sure I'm followed to Dr. Tiasan Johnson. We have interacted on Facebook in the comments section. I've listened to. I learned about Dr. Tiasan Johnson through Kevin Samuels, right? When Kevin Samuels actually spoke to him, and he mentioned him a couple times, right? So yeah, I have a lot of respect for Dr. Tiasan Johnson, man. That brother is a very intelligent scholar. I'll say that much. Him, Dennis Sperling, the Beautiful Lies, very educated brothers. So yeah, I have nothing but respect for those brothers. Let's see here. Did I get all the? I know we got off the topic, but let's see here. Okay, we got everybody. Cool. All right, let's get to it. And we talk about the military. I got to bring ex-Navy SEAL Jocko Willink in the building. So this is his book, Extreme Ownership. And I wanted to play this part specifically for the men. And it talks about taking accountability in regards to being a leader. Now, granted, I know in the Black community, it's not as cookie cutter as we would want it to be. Especially, it's definitely not like in the military. Because we all volunteered to join, the world's greatest military in the United States, right? Y'all understand that nobody was drafted in today's modern military. However, when somebody is having an issue with, I guess not understanding to follow orders, there are certain measures that you can put in place to discipline, or you can try and make them, I guess, get on program. But if it's too far gone, then we just go ahead and get rid of them. So having extreme ownership and taking accountability on how you lead in the Black community, it has to be a individualized type of outlook in regards to leadership, leading the people that you are responsible for. Because as Black men, I honestly believe that we're not in a position, and the Black community won't allow us to be in a position to take the sole role as leaders in the Black community, because there's really nothing that we can do to change the way that our women view us as leaders. And I just discussed this in my most recent video, and it's doing very well because people understood what I was saying. Like, if you have a large contingent of people that believe a lie about their male counterparts, and that's been embedded in their head for 50, 60 years, it's going to take another 50 years to unlearn that. And when we talk about accountability and leadership as a man, we just have to understand that we need to do what's best for us and the people that we're responsible for. And that's how I look at it from this approach. But I want Jocko to explain what extreme ownership is. And he's going to use a great example from him being a Navy SEAL, right? Jocko is amazing. So let me see. Oh, my bad. Missed the super chat. A split Jim 56.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. Said no one knows the violence it took to become this gentle. Yeah, I don't think people understand, man. I see your profile picture, man. Well, you got that maybe an AR-14. I'm not sure, but people don't understand. In order to appreciate being, being at peace, you have to go through some things first. And I definitely went through a lot, man. So it took me a lot to get to this point. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I mean, I'm grateful for every day. Before I leave the house, I got my Bible sitting there on the nook. Nobody would have expected me to get to this point where I could sit there and use discernment and not pop off to the point to how I used to. Let's just say that much. I've seen more than most, right? And that's including your favorite gang members or whoever. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, some people grew up in the hood, hard times. But don't nothing compare to going into a foreign country and you looking around and you tell yourself, God is not here. There is no way God is here. Based off of the things that you see when you first step off of the C-130, right? I don't think people understand, the fear that goes through a soldier, an airman, a Marine, a service member's mind when you're going into a combat zone and they tell you that you got to do a combat landing, but you can't land because the area is too hot. And then when you finally get a chance to land under blackout and you get off the plane and you're the first one out of the back of that C-130 and you look to the left and you see that C-130 littered with bullets. Yeah, that was something that I experienced in 2003 when the war was kicking off. First one out of the back. And that's when I knew shit was real. So what y'all getting here is the version of a healed man, but not to the point where I will not overlook certain situations that they greet me at my doorstep. Let's just say that much. Right? So, and that's why I think I tell people to enjoy life as much as possible, because if I didn't have great training, good people around me, great supervisors, I probably wouldn't be here. And a lot of military members can say that. We probably wouldn't be here if we didn't trust somebody that didn't look like us. Because trust and believe, all that race shit goes out the window when in a combat zone or even just deployed. All that, hey, I don't like white people, I don't like Hispanic people. Just wait until you got to rely on somebody to stay awake when you in your DFP, your defensive fighting position, you're looking this way, and you got somebody out there that's, a white person, and you got to trust them to stay awake just so they won't get compromised and you get deleted out there. You have to trust that person. There's a whole other level of trust that most civilians don't understand about being in the combat zone or just being deployed in general. So don't take this shit for granted, man. That's why I want to encourage people to try and, get better every day, set realistic goals, and just enjoy life as much as possible. Don't get too caught up in, arguing on social media. I know sometimes it can be entertaining, but damn, man, there's a whole world out there that we need to be experiencing. Seriously. Man, I could go, I could talk about this all the time. Like the place I'm at now, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I'm absolutely blessed. I'll say that much. So let's get to Jocko. Here we go.
Performing SEAL units had leaders who accepted responsibility for everything. Every mistake, every failure or shortfall, those leaders would own it. During the debrief, after a training mission, those good SEAL leaders took ownership of failures, sought guidance on how to improve, and figured out a way to overcome challenges on the next iteration. The best leaders checked their egos, accepted blame, sought out constructive criticism, and took detailed notes for improvement. They exhibited extreme ownership, and as a result, their SEAL platoons and task units dominated. When a bad SEAL leader walked into a debrief and blamed everyone else, that attitude is picked up by subordinates and team members, who then followed suit. They all blamed everyone else. And inevitably, the team was ineffective and unable to properly execute a plan. Continuing, I told the VP, in those situations, you ended up with a unit that never felt they were to blame for anything. All they did was make excuses and ultimately never made the adjustments necessary to fix the problems. Now, compare that to the commander who came in and took the blame. He said, my subordinate leaders made bad calls. I must not have explained the overall intent well enough. Or, the assault force didn't execute the way I envisioned. I need to make sure they better understand my intent and rehearse more thoroughly. The good leaders took ownership of the mistakes and shortfalls. That's the key difference. And how do you think their SEAL platoons and task units reacted to this type of leadership? They must have respected that, the VP acknowledged. Exactly. They see extreme ownership in their leaders, and as a result, they emulate extreme ownerships throughout the chain of command down to the most junior personnel.
So, and that's one thing that I learned about the military. Like once you have like those leaders that take extreme ownership or accept accountability for the team, that's messing up, when you exhibit that type of leadership, your team will start to get disappointed in themselves for messing up a training mission or something like that, because you have to train like you're actually in the real thing. So sometimes military folks speak up in the chat, we got 110 people in there. If you ever did any combat and you get deleted in a combat training mission, that shit means a lot. I remember when I was going through, so in 2004, I went to SARE school. SARE school It's survival training, right? It was in Fort Lewis, Washington, right, by Fairchild, right outside of Fairchild Air Force Base. Went there, went through the whole course, did extremely well. The next time that I went to the cut course of SEER training was it was called ECAC at Lackland Air Force Base, and we were doing realistic scenarios where it's a lot of stuff that go on in ECAC, and we had to take that shit serious. You didn't want to get deleted while you were trying to survive, under training harsh conditions. And when somebody got deleted, they took that shit to heart. They had to go to the counselor and be like, hey, why did you get deleted in this training scenario? What could you have done better? Because that shit, it makes sense, because they're trying to teach you how to stay alive in certain situations. So you start to get upset at yourself. Like, damn, man, I need to do better. And when you have an environment like that where people can hold themselves accountable and hold each other accountable, then that's when, you start to perform at the highest level. And that's one of the great things that a lot of people respect about SEAL team members, because they have a level, most of them have a level of extreme ownership, to the fact that, man, they operate at a high level, man. And it's not just them. In the Air Force, we have our pararescue men, we have our combat controllers, our TAC P guys. They have a lot of stress under them, and those guys perform at the highest level. Some of the most intelligent dudes that you ever meet. Seriously. Olympic level athletes for the SEALs and for those operators, for special forces, Rangers. Have so much respect for the Rangers, man. My goodness, they always there. So wherever I went, the Rangers was always there. Marines, my goodness, the Raiders. Look, yeah, some of the best guys that I've ever met. So let's continue.
As a group, they try to figure out how to fix their problems instead of trying to figure out who or what to blame. For those on the outside looking in, like our training group, or the board in your case, the difference is obvious. And that is how I appear to the board right now, blaming everyone and everything else, the VP recognized. There's only one way to fix it, I told him. For the next several days, I helped the VP prepare for the board meeting. At times, he slipped back into defensiveness, not wanting to accept the blame. He felt in many ways that his knowledge exceeded that of many members of the board, and he was probably right. But that didn't change the fact that he was the leader of a team that was failing its mission. As we rehearsed the VP's portion of the board presentation, I was unconvinced that he truly accepted total responsibility for his team's failures. I told him that bluntly. I'm saying exactly what you told me to say, the VP retorted. The reason that this mission was unsuccessful was my failure as a leader to force execution. That's the problem, I said. You're saying it, but I'm not convinced you believe it. Look at your career. You have accomplished amazing things, but you certainly aren't perfect. None of us are perfect. You are still learning and growing. We all are. And this is a lesson for you. If you re-engage on this task, if you do a stern self-assessment of how you lead and what you can do better, the outcome will be different. But it starts here. It starts at the board meeting, when you go in, put your ego aside, and take ownership for the company's failure here. The board members will be impressed with what they see and hear, because most people are unable to do this. They will respect your extreme ownership. Take personal responsibility for the failures. You will come out the other side stronger than ever before, I concluded. At the board meeting, the VP did just that. He took the blame for the failure to meet manufacturing objectives and gave a solid, no-nonsense list of corrective measures that he would implement to ensure execution. The list started with what he was going to do differently, not about what other people needed to do. Now, the VP was on his way to extreme ownership.
And that's a great point at the end there. So shout out to Jocko Wilnick for putting that into perspective. I think, and I've said this before, I think people in the Black community, if I'm going to, correlate the two, they've made their decision in regards to how they want to live their life. And now we just have people working towards getting to that particular goal, whether that may be more Black men becoming passport bros, either dating outside of their race, or more Black women trying their best to, date men or marry men of other races, or, the contingent of Black people that are trying to bring Black love, back together, which is the optimal thing to do. But sometimes we have to call a spade a spade. We are broken. In the black community, we have not seen eye to eye in years. And I don't think that's going to change unless, another 50 years pass and we start to get our women on the same page in regards to acknowledging that black men are not here to compete with you. We're not here to disparage you. Black men love black women, and it shows in the marriage numbers. But for some odd reason, that gets thrown by the wayside. Yes, there are more black men that date or marry outside their race, but that pales in comparison to the amount of black men who are married to black women. It's at 79%, right? So if you had 100 black women who marry black women, 79 of them are married to black men. But the black community always likes to push that to the side. So we still have an allegiance to one another, but I know that the loudest people in the room are on social media are the ones that can hinder these conversations if their message is piss poor. And that's just like that young woman was saying in regards to people, I guess, pandering to or fear mongering to black women's struggles that they think they have. And you keep getting the same type of content creators putting this message out to our women. And it feels good to shit on, your male counterparts. But at the end of the day, nothing has changed with your life. And I mean, it has to be looked at some point. And then, and I harp a lot on the guys too. I want y'all to be aware of who you following. And hopefully it's helping instead of hurting. Depending on what you're trying to do, right? Because I get it, and I mean, salute to the passport bros. Them brothers have already made the decision and they're just doing it and they're moving as such. And that's, I honestly, I admire those guys because seems like the whole black community is against it. And they get contradicting messages about the passport bro movement. First, you have the women who say that they don't want these guys, right? They don't want them. You're the least desired in the States. You don't have enough money to deal with a black woman in the States, so you can go, right? But they continue talking about them. Then you got a contingent of black men who talk mess about the passport bros, and they say that, these guys can't get no booty, so they got to go overseas to find a woman. And in both situations, you got to ask yourself, like, why do you care? Even if that was true, why do you care? If, for one, for the ladies, if you don't want these guys, then why do you care about what they're doing? If they can't afford you, right, as you say, then why do you care what they're doing? And for the guys, if they can't get no booty in the States, then that means that it's more for you, right, brother? And why do you care about another man's penis and where he's putting it or inserting it? Why do you care? I never understood that. And that's only something that the black community does. Like, damn, man, if I don't like something, I don't like somebody, I'm not going to spend my days talking about it. And amidst all that hate and vitriol that the passport bros get, these brothers still traveling. They don't care one bit, really. Hey, it's so funny. Passport bros will listen to all this and then make content out of it and get paid to fund these trips. That's the funniest thing to me, bro. I listen to some of the past. I like, of course, Jay Fleming, but Average Man Unplugged, Beautiful Lies. They have compilations of people talking about the passport bros. And it's, next thing you know, they're in another country doing content from that country. Look at these people talking about us. Not knowing these brothers getting paid off y'all talking about them. That ain't funny to y'all. I'm saying. It's the craziest shit. I be dying laughing. I be like, man, the compilations be so funny, and it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. And I'm like, man, damn, you making lemonade out of lemons, right? I mean, people, the passport bros, they crazy. They doing this, they doing that, and these passport bros be sitting there on their channel, like watching, like, oh, ha ha. It's the best thing ever, bro. It brings me so much joy. So that's why I like the passport bros, because they like listen to the foolery and they get paid off of it. So it's the best thing ever, man. Yo, oh my goodness. That's some funny shit. Man. Oh man. Hold on, let me see if we got any cash apps. We got got that one. Okay, we caught up. Cool. So let's continue. So after we got done with Jocko, in regards to the whole topic of what does success look like to you, some of the things that definitely helped me when I was thinking about my plan and where I wanted to be in the future. I also wanted to share this with you guys to kind of put things into perspective. Like, becoming a successful man doesn't happen overnight. And I know I mentioned this before to you guys. So if you look here, this is the Investopedia simulator. You guys remember when we did the investment live stream? I mentioned this, but let me move the banner here. Let me show you guys the date on this. Remember I told you guys, and I had to go back into my emails to see if I still had it. But look, I started to become a member of Investopedia simulator to learn about stocks and how to trade. December 18th, 2014. Remember I told you guys that it was one of my New Year's resolutions to make my first trade in January or after the break, January 2015. So yeah. So this is when I started. This is when I first started to learn about, the stock market. It didn't come like overnight, man. And this is 2014. I had already been in the military for what, 15 years before I made my first trade. So, I mean, I wouldn't sit here and BS y'all, like, be like, oh yeah, man, I've been on this kick for a while now. No. It's been times where I had to, I couldn't leave the house because I didn't have enough money to put gas in my car. And I knew I had to go to work. So I needed to save that gas just so I could get to work. Right? I've been there. And everybody has these type of similar stories or whatever, but sometimes people don't want to share it because they want to make it seem like everything has always been peaches and cream. No. I grew up in the same type of environments that most people have grew up, right? That's, black and living in, subpar conditions, even though my mom did the best that she could. Yeah. I remember when the lights would get turned off. And I used to tell myself that I never want to be in that type of situation, right? And, it all comes with just like having a plan. And I remember I was writing down, my vision after all, the stuff happened with my daughter when I was back in Korea. I was like, man, I need to do this right. And I remember seeing something online or somewhere where they had it planned out. It was like steps which you should take in order to get to where you want to be. And the first one, I wrote it down. It said vision. First, you need to have a vision. You have to see where you want to be in a particular time frame. And once you see the vision, you kind of start following people that have a similar path that you want to take and you want to be like. And that's what I used to do. I used to, read certain books, follow certain people just to see how they're, living, because I want to get to that point at some time, sometime. And then the next thing was setting realistic goals. Sometimes people set their goals too high, and when they don't reach them in a particular time, then they get frustrated and they just stop doing it all together. The military kind of teaches you that, like, hey man, once you set those realistic goals and you can feel good about those small wins and you celebrate those small wins, it will definitely give you the encouragement to continue. And that's why I always tell people, like, hey, if it's something as simple as fitness, the first thing that I always talk about is being consistent. Because once you go to the gym, what you gonna do? Just F around and not work out? If you made the drive to go to the gym, you got the membership, you're there now. You go to the gym, you're physically there for 4 hours or 4 days out of the week. You gonna sit there and BS? No. Be consistent and get your ass in there. That's setting a realistic goal. Same thing with nutrition, right? I used to hate when people say that, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna try and get on the same bodybuilding diet as you, you know. So I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna buy all this chicken breast and broccoli and brown rice. And I know for a fact that this person has never eaten that type of combination of food for 5 days straight in their life. And once you try and do that, just cold turkey, you end up failing. So that's why I would say set a realistic goal. Either you eat one, you know, out of the first week, you eat one meal that consists of chicken, broccoli, and rice. One meal a day. And then you try and bump that up to 2 meals a day, or then you eat something else healthy, you know, three times a day. You have to gradually work into it instead of going cold turkey. And most of the time when people try to do that, they would end up wasting their money on groceries that they would just let rot because they would get tired of eating like that. It takes a certain level of discipline, man, to commit to something like that, you know? So you just have to set realistic goals, you know, before you just, you know, start saying, hey, man, I want to make $1 million. You know, some woman out there right now on TikTok, I think it was on Instagram, where she was saying that she want to teach people how to make 8 figures in a year or something like that. And the interviewer was like, have you ever made 8 figures? And she was like, no. He's like, have you ever made 6 figures? She was like, no. He's like, well, how are you going to teach? It was just set realistic goals, man. Then after that, develop a plan of action. And this may take some writing. People don't write that much. You know, these days they got their phones or whatever, but sometimes you need one of those big whiteboards where you can actually write those goals down. And when you walk into the house, you get embarrassed if your ass ain't working towards that goal that you set, because you see them right there. I got a board on my refrigerator. We have our New Year's resolutions, things that we want to do, certain things that we want to accomplish, and it's staring me smack in my face every time I look, you know, go into the refrigerator to remind me that I need to get to it. So once you got that plan of action, then you need to get to it. Action. And this is the part where a lot of guys fail, because you guys will spend the time of talking about, not you guys, some guys, but I see this with men all the time. You'll talk about what you want to do, but then when it's time to get to work, that's where the plan fails. And I know I talk to women. I hear women complain about that all the time, especially in the Black community. And that's one thing that Black men have to get out of. If you going to sell this woman a dream that you actually like and you want to marry, and you say that you have all these plans and aspirations to be this big time guy, but you're not working towards it, and then you start to try and blame her or blame your demons, that's a problem. Yes, women have their gripes as well, because men they will do that. You will get complacent. One of the biggest things that I hear with a lot of men, or the issues that they run into when we do these consults, is the fact that when we start trying to hold them accountable, it just comes down to being lazy or being content with their woman doing half the work. And yes, I'm not opposed to the 50-50 thing, but you need to be working towards to taking some of that stress off your wife, right? I rely heavily on that message, because yes, I understand that the majority of the world, majority of marriages are 50-50, but there are some people who started off like that, and they were able to take their wives out of the workforce because they worked hard to do so. They lived up to their action. The plan that they created and they sold their wives, they lived up to it. And that's what I want Black men in particular to start doing. And I'm not talking about a woman that doesn't deserve it. Every time I discuss these things, I'm talking about a good woman. She's either taking care of your kids or she's taking care of you. She's doing right by you, so you want to do better for her. This is not coming from a place of these scallywags that y'all see on these damn dating shows, Kendra G show. No, I'm talking about a good woman that you're married to. You chose her and you want to do right by her. So once you make that plan of action, you need to be working towards, you start getting it into action, right? And then once that action is going on, then you can start seeing a level of success. And that benefits both of you. Now, if you're a guy who doesn't want to get married, same still applies, right? Because at some point you're going to deal with women and you want to make sure that they're good as well. You want to get the best experience out of them, or you want to be, a single guy traveling the world. Take care of business. Don't get complacent. Don't get stagnant. Work towards the goals and move on. Set more goals, realistic goals. What did Fabulous say? He said, what was that song? Gone for the Winter. He said, my plan B is to make plan A work. And that was like a great great message. He never deviated. So I just want to be clear on that. I know we like to talk about the foolery of some of these women, but I'm talking about a good woman when I start, mentioning trying to put her in a better position. That's what we need to be working towards as men. Because I don't want this narrative to continue that black men get complacent when they get into a marriage and they stop trying to compete, right? So yes, go do the research for yourselves. The majority of people are in egalitarian marriage. Well, let me not say the majority. The majority, the men are paying most of the bills, are footing most of the household expenses. And right after that is egalitarian, right? So what happens? It's not normal. And on the other end, it's only, what is it? Three out of four married couples, both parties work. Only 1 out of 4 are afforded the opportunity to be stay-at-home parents, stay-at-home wives or husbands. Women, the most at 18%, right? So it's normal for both parties to work, but you always want to try and make sure you take some of that burden off of a good woman's shoulders, right? A good woman, your wife, all right? Let's see here. Oh, got a super chat. Rent Turner with the $10 super chat said, facts, I have everything set up already, home, vehicles, even closet space for a specific type and kind of woman. Yeah, man, we know what we like. Thank you for that, brother. Yeah, and I always want to preface that with good woman, because we would definitely get caught up and start thinking about, all the foolery that we can see on these panel shows and sometimes on Kendra G. And yeah, good woman. You didn't hear me say black woman, because I know y'all like, well, ain't no good. There's some good black women out there, but expand your options. Trust me, black women trying to tell each other the same thing. But the funny thing is, black men do a better job at that. And it don't even require black men to go out on social media and give all these other women praise. Even though I do see some foolery out there, like the black dudes, we're black men who date white women, and some black dude is dating some Arab woman, and she, quoting a song to my I need some money N-word, and he's sitting there doing the video with her. Just plumb foolery. Some black men embarrass me, and I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. And yeah, embarrassing. So let's get one more video in here from let me see here. I want to go to the outliers, and this is a quick one from Malcolm Gladwell. It's about the 10K rule. It comes from that chapter. Quee said, what? Yeah, it's a black dude. He's dating an Arab woman, and it's a song. It's like, when you're an Arab woman who's used to getting whatever she wants, like princess treatment or something like that, but you're dating a black guy. And she's like, I need some money, N-word. You know, what the F you gonna do? And he's just sitting there. And now every black woman on TikTok is sharing this and saying, you see how black men do? All black men. They'll let these other races of women talk crazy about them right in front of their face. They'll do videos, right? All black men. And we know that's, you know, it's normal in the black community. One black man F's up, that he represents all black men, right? But that's the narrative that's going on out there. It's embarrassing. So let's listen to this clip from The Outliers. It's pretty simple, but it's very important. Here we go.
The 10,000 hour rule. We pretend that success is exclusively a matter of individual merit. But there's nothing in any of the histories we've looked at so far to suggest things are that simple. These are stories instead about people who were given a special opportunity to work really hard and seized it, and who happened to come of age at a time when that extraordinary effort was rewarded by the rest of society. Their success was not just of their own making. It was a product of the world in which they grew up.
So, and this is important, and I know it was a quick little clip, but just taking advantage of a time where things are supposedly going bad. And that's the time that we're in right now in regards to, you know, this little, they call it a little small recession and people struggling for money. It's the same thing about being on the stock market, like when everything is red, especially if it's a let's say this is not financial advice. Let me just say that much. But if the market is going through something where everything is red, which, you know, everything is in the negative, people will tell you to start purchasing, because especially if it's a blue chip stock like Apple or Amazon or something like that, if they've been down and you see the prices go down, most people will tell you that's when you need to start buying, because eventually their stock is going to rise because it's a tried and true company, right? So instead of being down about the issues or the situation that we're in regards to finances and interest rates and buying homes, we need to be prepared to when we come out of this, because eventually America will bounce back. It's just how we do, right? So, I mean, if you can thrive in today's climate and you can start to succeed and improve in today's climate, just think of how good it's going to be when things start going really well, because it definitely will happen. You know, we've been, you know, America goes through their ebbs and flows. We know how it goes, right? So this is the perfect time where, hey, you may not be able to, you know, buy that house at this particular time because the interest rates are high, but you may need to start getting more educated in the process. You may need to start setting yourself up for a time when you are able to buy that house or buy that car or whatever you want to do, buy that extra land, that property, that rental home. You know, start to try and set yourself up to just thrive under times of, you know, like dire times, because I mean, it'll help you out in the long run. I promise you that. So if you can succeed now, yeah, you'll definitely be able to hold your own once things, you know, are back to normal, so to speak, right? And again, that's not financial advice, but if you read any books, they'll tell you the same thing, especially on those blue chip stocks. If a blue chip stock is in the red, then trust and believe that stock, it ain't going nowhere, because you look around your house and you start to see stuff. Oh man, I still have this product, especially Apple. It's one of the best companies. I mean, as much, you know, mess as people talk about Apple, we still gonna buy it. So what, iPhone, was it 16 next? It's gonna be a line outside the door, pre-orders, getting the iPhone 16. So it is what it is, man. So yeah, Dante Bryan with the $5 super chat said, "Brother Double M, salute. What's going on, brother? How are you? Good to see you, man. And thank you once again. Now it is a show. Dante Bryan is here. Azriel, first of his name, said, buy low, sell high. There you go. See, we're not giving financial advice, but just do your research. Azriel was first of his name, said, all economies are cyclical. There are always different financial seasons. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and Oliver said Apple rarely misses. Yeah, and I always reference Apple when I'm talking about it because I've seen that company, do great things. And like I said, I joined Investopedia on December 18th and took those 2 weeks before I made my first trades, which were Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla. So just imagine that. Go back to 2014 and see what the prices were. And ask me if I still have those shares. Of course I do. But yeah, so let's see here. What else I got? I think that's good enough. I don't want to. Yeah, that's good. Oh, well, I can't share this, but you guys already know the stuff that I've been involved in with work. So, just so you guys will know that I'm not just sitting here doing, just talking on the, on YouTube, even though I think what I'm doing is good enough. But yeah, I'm always in the mix. So just to give you guys some background on what I've been a part of in regards to my work. It's at the White House back in September 2022, where we had one of our first meetings in a while about the national strategy on hunger, nutrition, and health. And people are asking, well, how does that benefit the Black community? So, and this is one of the emails that I received after it. It was just basically saying, thank you for what you already do to improve nutrition in your community. Follow the links, blah, blah, blah. The Nutrition and Obesity Policy Research and Evaluation Network, one of the applied research groups we support, developed a new resource. And this is the letter that we received from President Biden. And he was just basically saying at the bottom here, everyone has an important role to play in addressing these challenges: local, state, territory, and tribal governments, Congress, the private sector, civil society, agricultural workers, philanthropists, academics, and the course of the federal government. In developing this national strategy, my administration has listened to and learned from many remarkable advocates, including people who have experienced hunger and diet-related disease themselves. To all of you, I am grateful for your unwavering commitment to meeting this moment. Together, we can build a healthier future for all Americans. So I tend to stay in my lane, right? Health, public health, nutrition, that is my lane. So, and I think that the Black community needs to understand that. You play to your strengths. Don't expect me to get too involved in, policy and all that type of stuff. That is not my expertise. The way that I'm going to help the Black community is going to be through nutrition, public health, physical, mental, whatever. Anything that has to deal with health, that is my lane, right? So when people ask, well, what are your content creators doing? That is one of them. I'm definitely helping the Black community in regards to nutrition and fighting obesity. You guys already know that I am one of the ambassadors for Live to the Beat campaign, right? Thank you for being a Live to the Beat campaign ambassador and helping us empower the Black community with the steady beat of health habits, tips, and routines to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke. And I've already did multiple live streams on this. I dedicated one in particular to where we gave out free memberships to MyFitnessPal for the premium edition. If you guys don't know, it's still on my live stream. If you want a free membership to MyFitnessPal, you just have to do the post check, and you can get that. I afforded that to the Black community by being a member of this organization. So yeah, so it's not as cookie cutter as people think in regards to content creators, and we just here to talk about frivolous conversations. No, there's a lot of educated folks in here, and I'm gonna put myself in that category. I'm a very educated man. I know where my lane is, and I know where I can make an impact. And I've been doing it for years now, right? I've already showed you all the philanthropic work that I do, the organizations that I donate to. Shout out to the JRLA, Jalen Rose Academy. I donate to them. Autism Speaks. I do a lot in these spaces, man. So just because you guys, may not see me, on somebody's platform discussing certain things, and nah, that's not my lane. I know where I'm gonna be most effective, and I'm gonna stick to it. And when it's time to branch out and learn something new, I definitely will. But as of now, I know where I can be better served. Right? I just want to be clear on that. I know people like to shame black men in these spaces. All they doing is talking about, black women, and they just got their platforms. As dumbasses, man. Sit down and listen, man, instead of trying to talk about people. It's the craziest stuff. Let's see here. Jay says Navita is running. Yeah, it's been running, man. Goodness. Azrael, first of his name, said you subscribe to Investopedia too. Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been with him since 2014. That's how I teach people about investing. So Tris says Navita is definitely killing Bitcoin mining. Definitely gave that company a massive boost because they are among the top 10 most valuable companies in the S&P 500. Oh, yeah. See, people know. Y'all brothers cooking over here. So let's see here. Lamar White said black men talk about everything, including finances. Oh, yeah, especially over here. You never know what I will be talking about over here, man. Azrael said you should have been an actuary, fam. I like when other black men utilize math to substantiate their rationale. Yeah, man. And like I said, it's sometimes I may have to translate the information just so the black community can understand it. But for the most part, I mean, this information is for anybody. And I just wish that the black community would acknowledge it. But it's going to get to a point where my channel is going to continuously grow. We're almost at 36,000 subscribers, which is a great milestone since we just hit 35,000. So my platform is going to continue to grow. And eventually I'm going to go on some respectable platforms, and we can have this conversation. So it's definitely, some things are going to be in the works in the near future. I promise you guys that. So yeah, it's going to be good. But so it's Wednesday. What I got going on? Let me see. Did I miss anything? Let me make sure. Miss any super chats, cash apps? Nope, good to go. Got Malik. Thank you for sending that $3.50 cash app a while back. I just got to it, man. Sorry about that. But yeah. So thank y'all for tuning in on this good Wednesday. I know this is kind of unconventional conversation, but hopefully it was informative, especially for the young men who are, either going to college or, just out in the world, man. Just be mindful, and watch your liquor consumption. Say that much. Oh, got a super chat. My bad. What is that? MC Recovery and Relief. The $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Said I paid my car off 2.5 years, 2018 Altima. Now working on paying down $10,000 credit card debt. Percentage rate's crazy. Waiting for my taxes to bring it down. Oh, absolutely, man. And what's funny, my I don't know if y'all get these updates, but my credit score actually just went up 12 points today. So I got the notification from Experian. And because I got something in the works. I actually purchased something in regards to investing, and it definitely helped out. So yeah, it said review your alerts. Great job. Your hard work paid off and your score increased. So yeah, so I'm in the 800. So I'm doing very well, but it went up 12 points. So yeah, we doing good over here. So but we're gonna definitely do this credit show here very shortly. So yeah, so it's I can't wait to do it. So, no gimmicks. Oh, I don't know about all the credit fix and all that type of stuff, but yeah, I just know what it takes to build up. So Quiz $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. Said thanks, meeting man. Keep it coming. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. And Train to Live. Oh man, glad I got a chance to get one of your chats here. Thank you, Media Man, for sharing your talents with your subscribers and the community as a whole. Oh, man, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm just trying to be good representation of black men, and we have a lot of people in these spaces that do a great job at that, and I just want to be a part of them. So that's all it is, man. But tomorrow I'm definitely gonna be on the golf course. Uh, I can't wait. I got, you guys know that I have my own practice net in my backyard. I put videos out there, so I'm very serious about golf. That is one of my favorite hobbies. Outside, well, lifting weights ain't a hobby no more, staying in shape, but golf is where it's at. So I'm out there in my backyard, but my gardener, he doesn't come down tomorrow. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm out there as soon as he gets done in the morning and be out there with my basket of golf balls, hitting the net. So I'm getting pretty respectable, man. I'm definitely an average player. I'm trying to get above average. I'm gonna get there. I promise you. I promise you. So see, Jay said, you still owe me a round of golf. Yeah, man, I definitely do. When I was out there in Brazil, like I said, I went out there, man, but they were having a tournament. So I actually got a chance to, go to the driving range. I ate there. Yeah, it was a great time. But yeah, definitely, once we meet up, man, we definitely go out to hit the links. I promise you. That is what I do. So definitely what I do. We said buy some blades. Buy some blades. You can work the ball easier. Maybe I need to buy some more clubs. So I think I know what I want. I like the titanium. It does make a difference. I used to be one of those guys like, man, why I'm gonna pay, $500 for just one club? Until I went to what's that? We have a golf shop here. I just went there. I know I ordered stuff from T Public, but our Golf Galaxy, is that what it's called? Golf Galaxy, right down the street from me too. Yeah, Golf Galaxy. You guys don't know, if you want to go to Golf Galaxy, you can actually test out clubs because they have their own they have their own bays where you can go ahead and swing the club out there. Man, when I tell you, when you want to test some of those expensive ass clubs, you see the difference. I was in shock. I was like, hey, yo, I was like, okay, that's why these fools be paying thousands of dollars for these damn clubs if you're serious. I'm not there yet in regards to investing that much on a club, but I'm definitely going to, get a couple of them here soon. I may get a whole thing if I say it loud enough, somebody will buy it for me. She know what I like. But yeah, so I definitely going to go back in there and test out some more clubs. I'm a lefty, so all my clubs I have to really search to find those. So yeah, man. So yeah. Oh man. Oh, my bad. Lamar Wyatt, 499 Super Chat said, great show, brother. Something out the door. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. We definitely about to get out of here. But yeah, go to Golf Galaxy, guys. If you're learning how to golf, go test it out. You know what I'm saying? And you may be able to get some free lessons on how to swing a club. Or if not, go to your local golf range and take some classes on how to swing the club. Because I promise you, it's not as easy as you think, man. It took me, I want to say, at least 6 to 8 months to learn how to swing a golf club correctly. and that may even shorten it. Like, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I'm just now starting to hit the ball with consistency. You know what I'm saying? So it is a humbling sport. I'm gonna tell you that much. Same thing with bodybuilding. It's humbling because you always can find something to improve. You look in the mirror, be like, oh man, I need more of a cap on my shoulders. So I'm gonna work on my shoulders. Then once you get to where you want to, you look at your abs. I need a little bit more, oblique muscles, or I need a little bit more feathering, and you start working on that. You get to that, and I need a little bit more sweep on my quads. So you start working on your quads. You get that, and then you start looking at other things. Like, I need to improve this. Golf is that 10 times. It is definitely humbling. You know what I'm saying? You be like, oh my goodness. But it is definitely a fun sport, man. I enjoy it so much. Who would have thought? I remember we used to hate when golf would come on, after like a basketball game or a football game, we'd turn from it. Now you can't keep me off the golf course. I invested in my own little putting green and, my net, and goodness, it is wild. So let's get out of here. Queen said medium man was swinging like her. Oh yeah, I was bad. I'm gonna have to find an old video. I'm gonna do the side by side, and you guys let me know if you can see the difference. This is gonna be hilarious. I'm definitely. Oh yeah, I'm doing that now. I got y'all. Y'all think I'm playing? You think it's a game? I've come a long way. So yeah. Yeah, you're right, Reese. Difference between watching golf and playing golf. Yep. And I told my homeboy that because he was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna just buy the video game and play golf there." I'm like, "Nope." I was like, because the golf game on the PlayStation is fun, but when you start playing it, then you might not want to go to the range. I'm like, nah, do not buy that golf game, because you got to see the difference. It is definitely a better experience, man. And the food is typically good. Reese, would you say that? If you play golf, I'm pretty sure you do. When you go to these golf clubs, golf drive, whatever, the food is good. Like you go to the clubhouse, man, you could find some of the best food. Yeah, drinks, all that stuff. It's amazing. Then you got the cart girls coming around with the drinks, and you be, wasted out there. So, but no, man, I've always enjoyed the food. We always enjoy the food out there. It's pretty good. Queez, yeah, he said, yeah, this food is amazing. I know at the Black Horse golf range out here, they make these homemade chocolate chip cookies. Sheesh. Amazing. So yeah, I'm reminiscing. But yeah, let's get out of here. So this is a great show. I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy, man, for a little bit. Appreciate it. Oh, he said, I don't. However, I visited country clubs with a huge golf course. Becky cooked me up a nice free chicken sandwich. Becky. Your food. Yeah, man, that food is amazing. I enjoy it so much. But yeah, y'all find your hobbies, man. You ain't got to play golf like me, but I'm pretty sure you can find something out here. There's so much to do. Enjoy life. Be safe. Be happy, man. I just want to see people succeed. I'm here for y'all. Greatly appreciate the support. Thank you to all those who sent in super chats, cash apps, to everybody who commented. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you learned something from this. And make sure you guys check out those books. The Outliers, Talking to Strangers, and also Jocko Willnick's Extreme Ownership. Amazing books, right? So appreciate y'all rocking with your boy. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll leave you with this Black Couple Revolution compilation of Black married couples doing well. So just when you thought that Black love wasn't alive, it absolutely is. So follow their page and you can get a greater experience of what Black people are doing. And we still love each other, man. We doing well. Don't listen to these bitter ass people all the time on social media. We thriving out here. All right. So I'm out. Peace. Thank y'all once again.
Around because he loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does he really wanna? I can't stand to see